fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
Hello everybody, welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be on a Monday night. Spurs fan, as always, and you know it, don't deny it. Guys, welcome, thank you for being with us. Love to you, your friends, your family, everyone. Big up to everybody in the comment, as always. We've got plenty to talk about today. Some excitement, or is it some depression? Depends which way you look at it, right? But anyway, before we get crack-a-lacking, I just want to say to everyone who watches the show, to everyone who comments on the show, to everyone who engages with us on social media, to everyone who comes on the show as a guest, our friends in the YouTube community, to absolutely everyone. Guys, thank you. We hit 20,000 subscribers yesterday. Unbelievable for our channel. We do it without sponsors. We do it without any collaborations with journalists. We do it without any collaborations with A-listers, no ex-footballers. It's just us and you. So we'll stay authentic. You stay authentic. Big up to all of you. Much love, respect. Okay, deep breath. Iggy, how you doing? How's Italy?
Oof. Italy is as beautiful as it ever is. Until the 14th of July, we still hold the trophy. So I'm just saying. So the only one that can give it will be the eventual winners, which, as we know, ain't going to be you lot. So I'm coming for you lot. If you don't win that, if you don't bring it home, I'm coming for every single one of you lot that's been given it. So far, I'm just gonna leave it there. But at the moment, giving it hard, playing Slovakia and all these teams, scraping through in the last second. All right, man. Gareth's the one. He's the one to bring it home. I see your faces. You don't believe in it either, so don't try and give it. So I don't know what you're saying. How's Italy? How's Italy? All right, mate. We'll see. We'll see.
You just
We'll
went really
see.
quiet, Iggy, for a few days. You know, we didn't even say anything to you. You know.
Just said how's
All right,
Italy,
let me
you know?
put it
It's
this way:
good
with
food,
Italy
good people,
going out,
it's nothing.
with Spurs being Spurs, with the signings that we making or not making, what the hell have I got to say? Not much. From on all fronts. What more can I say? There's nothing happening at Spurs. Nothing happened at. So there's not really much else to say, really.
Do you know? I put a social post out the day you were playing when you crashed out the competition. I said,
Yeah, thanks.
Federico Chiesa, what a really good player. He was instrumental. Italy won it in 2020 with goals and assists. He's been a good player for Juve. All right, he's had some injuries. It's the kind of player that I'd like to see at Spurs because realistically, we can get that caliber.
I saw the post.
45 minutes later, you crash out, and I'm getting absolute pelters. What's he done today? When it matters,
Yeah,
like,
a quality of a player isn't. See, this is it's silly because the quality of a player isn't measured on one game. Perhaps you have to, like any player, there has to be context to it. So the context of the team has to be valid. Otherwise, the quality of the players won't come through if the context, the team, isn't functioning the way it should. So we can say it anything we want, you know. But at the end of the day, you're as good as the team that you have around you. Players like, you know, talking about England, players like Kane came through on the one chance that he had to put away, and he did it. But in the context of the game itself, did he really have a good game? Jude Bellingham, up until he scored, you know, he was getting pelters that, you know, he should have been off the pitch. He should have been subbed much earlier. Blah blah blah. And then, you know, in these cases, does Gareth Southgate take credit for keeping him on the pitch to the last second possible? Because one of those players that can come up trumps. So, you know, it's horses and courses. So we shall see. But end of the day, for me, Italy going out doesn't hide the fact that Chiesa still remains a good player. If Chiesa was at Spurs or any Premier League team in a good attacking side and plays good quality football, his qualities would come through for any of those teams. So yeah, man, and I'll tell you something else. I think Chiesa's moving this summer. I think Juve are going to get rid this summer. So he's up for grabs for sure. So to argue your case, if Spurs wanted to make move for him, I think they you know, if they're willing to pay the money, they can. I think this is a summer to go and get him.
Maz, you good?
No, we don't buy proven quality players, Iggy.
We buy 18-year-olds for 40 million. We'll
Straight
get into
away.
that. Yeah, we're buying. This is why, like, what is there to get excited about? You know, I know we're still in introduction. We're just saying hello, but we already go. All right, look, I'm sure we'll speak about this latest Leeds player.
We are at the hello stage of the show. Iggy's waffling about Italy, moaning, coming for England. If
you asked me a question about Chiesa and I responded. How's am I moaning about Italy?
All right. Maz's first words: "We don't buy quality." Right, straight. Not even hello.
Is he wrong?
I'm scared. I'm scared to say hello, Lee. How are you? I'm scared.
Sorry, I was watching the Portugal. Ronaldo just put one over the bar.
Mate,
sorry about that. Iggy, how's Italy getting on?
Shut the show down.
I'm joking. Oh no, nothing bad from me. You know what? I'm Mr. Positive in here, so can't be negative in any way, shape, or form. £40 million, absolutely lovely, great, fantastic. Carry on.
Do you know what? let's just go straight into it because everyone's burning to talk about it. So there was a message that went out saying David Ornstein, Tottenham working on a deal to sign Archie Gray from Leeds after Brentford offer turned down. Talks ongoing with expectation on all sides. Agreement can be reached, but nothing finalised yet. The 18-year-old is preferring Spurs. And then Romano tweeted, understand Tottenham are advancing on Archie Gray. Negotiations progressing. Spurs optimistic on personal terms after positive talks with the players' camp. Player open to the move. Tottenham hope to reach a total agreement and book a medical soon. And then, very quickly after that, Archie Gray has completed a medical, signed contract valid until June 2030. New Tottenham Hotspur player. Joe Rodon will go to Leeds as expected. Here we go. And then it was done. Archie Gray to Tottenham. Here we go. Agreement in principle between all parties involved, waiting to sign documents. Spurs to pay £40 million. Long-term deal for Gray. He's accepted to join Spurs. Joe Rodon will go to Leeds for around £10 million. Now, the basic stats of this young lad aren't the greatest. However, when you watch him play, it doesn't really match with the stats as much. But then again, on YouTube, they take the best bits when they do the compilation. So from what I can tell, and I'm not going to sit and make out I'm an Archie Gray specialist, I've been watching this kid or whatnot. What I can tell is, defensively, is he much better than Emerson Royale? No, he's not. Is he better on the ball? Absolutely. He's predominantly right-footed, but can use his left as well. He's got very good close footwork control, can beat a man, can find a pass forward. So he looks like he's got something about him. But again, he's young. He's only playing the Championship. And I approach it with caution because Oliver Skip went to the Championship and he was the player of the Championship and he helped Norwich come up. So I don't want to look at a Championship young player and say, right, what a gem, amazing. But I don't want to write him off either. My issue with this, and I do have an issue with it, guys, and we can debate. There's a manager at Tottenham who said to us, I want to challenge for the league title next year. We spent £40 million on this kid, and Spurs fans are telling me he's one for the future. What are we doing? That's my question. What are we doing? Is it now we're going to attack the league, or is it the future? Which one is it? Because I just feel that our fan base are flip-flopping. 1 minute we're going to challenge for the league, just you wait and see. Now it's, I'll give it a chance. He's one for the future. But Timo Werner, third highest paid player at the club, our first signing, third highest paid player, 40 million on a young lad, 18, unproven at the highest level. I don't understand where we're going or what we're thinking here. If it's for the future, then load it up with kids, just 3, 4, 5 years, and make sure we've got a coaching team that can develop young players. Not the manager, the coaching team can develop young players. If he's for the now, and we spent this big sum of money, £40 million, then I want to see him hit the ground running and tear it up because we're challenging for a league. That's what I've been told. I'm very confused. I'm not against the signing, but it doesn't make sense. So, Iggy, look, you go first, man. I actually don't know where I stand with this. I've asked questions, and rather than getting answers on social media, it's just abuse, hate, the usual. So you can't even ask a question. So maybe between us, we can discuss it. Iggy, where are you at with the signing of Archie Gray for £40 million?
Listen, I read about him the same way you guys have recently, but up until we were linked with him, I couldn't tell you who he was, how good he was, or anything like that. So I'm not going to sit here and make up some BS to say that, yeah, I knew all about him. Nah. It's 40 million, man. £40 million spent. All right, 30 if you take away the 10 million that Rodon has gone for. Mate, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. It's just a complete underwhelming signing. Listen, if it proves to be the next Cafu, then so be it, you know. But right now, I know Emerson's on the way out. We've got Pedro Porro there. Is this kid gonna get a look in with the likes of Porro playing ahead of him? But to spend 40 million
Iggy, interrupt you. Right, on that point, there's another thing I'm confused by. I should have mentioned it. Some people say he's a right back, some say he's a left back, some say he can play wing, some say he's going to be our number 6. So I actually don't know where he plays because I've been told multiple things. When I watch him, sometimes he looks like he's a winger, sometimes it looks like he's a wing back, sometimes he seems to be in the middle. So maybe he's versatile, but I don't know what position he's going to, if it's going to be Porro that he's going to be the backup to. I don't know.
Listen, on that one, I'm probably going to have to reserve judgment until I see him. But 40 million, that is some investment, man. That is some investment. In an area, I don't know. I just thought 40 million. I thought the priority for me was getting a striker, a number 6, like you mentioned. You know, when I see that Juventus have just signed Douglas Luiz, a player that we probably could have done with for pretty much the same sort of price. I've read that what Jimmy's saying. Some people are saying 25 million plus Joe Rodon, but that's not what Romano said, right? Romano just said it was in the 40 million.
So Iggy, what I've been told it's 25 million plus Rodon, and there's also a 5 million bonus if Leeds come up to the Premier League next season.
Okay,
apparently.
but so the package
overall
is 40 million.
40 million. 40,
you can we can dress it up as you want, maybe 25 and Rodon straight away, and then the rest. But it's still a big investment, you know. I just thought for that kind of money, you can go and get Chiesa. That's of the situation since we brought him up earlier on. I'm sure for 40 million, you can go and bag yourself a player like that. And if what I would like to see, or what. Listen, maybe I'm looking at this all wrongly. I have to kind of just like let it settle, man. I just thought that we could really do with some affirmed players already. I think we should sign young players and stuff like that, and beefing up the squad and stuff. But we should be looking at 3-4 players that are already affirmed, are ready-made players. If we have the ambition. And that's the question mark for me. If we really have the ambition to close the gap amongst the teams that finished ahead of us, because this to me is not a signing that tells me that we want to close the gap with the teams that finished ahead of us last season. It can't be. It can't be, surely. That it doesn't tell me that. Werner.
Well, this is so Iggy. So this
and now Gray.
Question. Iggy, this goes back to my question. So if
I don't know the answer to your question, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Put it this way: they're not aligned. If we are challenging, I don't know if Postecoglou was caught in a moment or whatever when he said that, but what he said in that moment and how we are moving, it's not aligned. So for me, it's the same. And I know Maz is probably going to go into it a little bit more, but I think this is more of the sign. The signs are very clear. It's more same old, same old. That's how I see it. I don't see any difference yet. It might change by the end of August, but right now I'm not seeing anything to make me think that we're going to do anything more. Maybe less, but definitely not more than what we did last season.
Maz, what's your take on it? And also, I've got a few concerns. Another concern I've got is this is quite a bit of money we've spent on this young player. Does that take away from investment on established players that we're crying out for, i.e., wide players that can score?
Of course it does.
A full number 6. Where
of course it does. If the budget is 150 million, that's 40 million gone. Basically, if the strategy is we have to sell before we buy, then that's 30 million gone. Either way, the budget is less now, right? And sometimes the budget isn't just outright spend. It might be, well, we can bring X amount of players in as long as it fits into our salary cap expectations. So it will be a combination of those two things. So absolutely, it's a concern because we've just blown a large portion of our budget on Turbo Wiener, who's rubbish, and a kid that we've got no idea whether he's going to make it in the Premier League. He's unproven. It's a typical Levy punt, isn't it? Bit like Jed Spence. Looks a talent in the lower divisions. Definitely has some quality when you look at him in the the highlight reels. Most players do when you look at that. His stats look okay, but not great. There's nothing that tells me this is any different from any other punt that we've done in the past. And we must have the most deluded club going in the Premier League. We do this to ourselves every single year. Instead of going out and buying quality players where you can rely on them, right? Whether you're playing a crap team, a mid-table team, a good team, we're buying in youngsters like we're doing a 6-year project with a manager that's likely to be sacked by November, December time, right? And we don't even know if the kid's going to be any good. We don't even know if the manager is going to be here come Christmas. So why have we gone and got Turbo Wiener and this young lad? I don't want the young lad to not do well. Of course I don't. I want him to do well. I want him to be another Gareth Bale. But let's face it, the likelihood is he isn't going to be another Gareth Bale. It's very rare that you get those players. And there's no way we're going to get a third player like that. We already had Bale. We've got Kane. We aren't going to get another one. So it's Ange, as well as us being a deluded club and having the most incoherent transfer policy and youth academy set up and strategy and club strategy for signings, he's got to be the most deluded manager I've seen in a while, because he doesn't know what he wants, right? He must have given us every single strategy of how he wants to build the club going. Right, he wants to introduce young players, but he doesn't introduce young players. He wants to bring in experienced players that can do it. Then he goes and gets Wiener, right? He wants to bring in talent into the squad, and he goes and gets Brendan Johnson. He can't score from 2 yards out, right? He wants to rip up the rule book and really shake up the team, and he re-signs Wiener and gets this young kid that probably ain't going to play.
Do you know what, Maz?
Paratici, sorry, Iggy, I just need to go. Paratici and Flange, right, and Scott Munn, they don't know what they're doing. All they know is they've got to be within a certain budget to help Levy build his hotel. That's how I'm feeling at the moment.
In addition to that, all I was going to say, Maz, in addition to that is, what message are we sending out to the best players that we have in our club right now, as to what if you're Romero,
we used to have
the other side of the world somewhere, Van der Ven's in Euros,
Iggy.
And then they're keeping an eye out on what's going on at Spurs and the players we're bringing in, and then they've been told that Werner's confirmed for next year, and now we've got this kid who could be a wonder kid by all means, but he's still a kid. That's
Iggy,
right now we're signing a kid.
Do you remember, Iggy, in the 90s?
What message
right?
does that send to them?
Yeah. Do you remember in the 90s when we got Jerry Francis as a manager, right?
Yeah,
and the talk around the fans and everything is, how is Jerry Francis going to attract big name players? And why is Klinsmann and Popescu and Dimitrescu going to stay at Spurs with a manager like Jerry Francis who they've never heard of? Yeah. That was the talk. And that as you said, how our young players now, or up and coming players, they're going to look around them and they're going to think, oh wow, I'm going to stay because Werner is in the team. No, they've got no World Cup. They've got no world class players or elite players to look to and think, yeah, I'm in this team and we've got him and we've got that to make them feel that we're progressing and going somewhere. It seems to me we're trying to build this future team, so we try and challenge for something in the next 6 years. So by 2030 we should expect to challenge something. The problem with that is that we never keep the manager for long enough to do that type of strategy, and there's no way we're going to back Ange like Arsenal have backed Arteta. So the same pattern is repeating again.
The players that we have that are good enough in a team now, that quality, they're not part of that project because they're not going to be ones to say, "Oh, we'll wait to win in 10 years' time."
I hope they're
Like
not.
that,
I'll tell you
tomorrow
why.
you got Van der Ven up against Dragerson. We got players, in South playing for the South American Copa America. So those players there are putting that currently, whether we like it or not, there are in a good, really good window
Iggy,
out there. If they
if
have good
if
performances,
our
they could
good
be moving.
players are good, right? If our good players are good and ambitious, which I hope they are, they should be turning around to the club and saying, "Please sell me to the next big club that comes in, or a club that my agent has found for me," because that I think is a problem as well. Is that sometimes our good players stick around for too long, and that then dents their ambition and nullifies them as individuals. Son is a prime example of that. Why has Son stayed for 5, 6, 7 years? Why hasn't he moved on when he was in the prime of his career to go and win trophies? Because let's face it, our quality players like Bale, Modric, Berbatov, Kane. Kane is probably a bad example because he stayed with us for so long. But they all moved and achieved things. Walker moved and achieved. Right, so if our current club, if VDV stays here for the next 5 years and we're still the same in 5 years' time, he's a fool. The same with Vicario. They're fools. They're not the good players that we thought they were, right? In from a mentality perspective, and that's why we never move forward. If we're buying winners and elite players, they move.
Maz, let me bring in Lee. Right, Lee, you've heard what Iggy and Maz have said. I want to know what you think on it, but also I just want to add a couple of bits. First of all, Jed Spence, Veliz, Ashley Phillips, Alfie Devine, none of them have played for Spurs, or when they have had maybe 5 minutes, have had any kind of impact. And we've got to sign another one now for quite a lot of money. When does this future actually come? Because it seems for the future, it's been 25 years. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, Lee, if we are going down Project Youth and we're not challenging for the league next year, it's all a myth. We're actually doing Project Long Term. How does this club justify putting up the prices on all the fans if we've got to wait 5 years? Does this not kind of go towards what Maz is saying and back up the things that he's saying, or do you see it from a different way, Lee?
Listen, I don't see it too differently to what Maz is saying, really. I mean, if we're saying, there's a couple of people in the chat saying give it a couple of years and he's going to be fantastic. Well, let's be honest. Do you really think Andrew's going to be here in 2 years' time? I'm struggling to understand if he's going to be here in 2 years' time. So what's the point in buying him now for a manager that may not even be here, right? Listen, my mate's a Leeds fan, and they're absolutely gutted that he's gone. Absolutely gutted. They thought he was an absolutely fantastic player, really good prospect. But that's all he is, right? He's a prospect. He's unproven in the Premier League. From what I've seen of him in a couple of the matches I've watched him play, he does look like a good player, and he does look like he's got potentially what it takes in a couple of years to be a good player in the Premier League. But he needs that time. So for me, let's also spit another fact as well. Let's just remember 24 hours before the Here We Go, let's remember he was pretty much in the door at Brentford. The only reason he hasn't gone to Brentford is Brentford couldn't agree with Leeds on the way they were going to pay the fee. So we weren't even first choice. He was there. He was having a medical. He was in the door. Everything was agreed, apart from Brentford, how they're going to pay it. So we've come out second best. We wasn't the first choice. But for me, listen, I don't. You just don't guarantee a manager's going to be around in a couple of years. I'm struggling to understand if this is an Ange signing or a club prospect signing, one for the future. I really couldn't tell you. Apparently Lange likes to keep all of his workings and dealings behind closed doors, so most of the stuff that we've been hearing about has been absolute made up rubbish. And listen, I've got nothing against the kid. I think he has got potential. I really do. I'm just my biggest concern with it, I think, is the price. I think it's if this was a 15 million to 20 million signing, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. I think we were saying, actually, do you know what? It's not too much. Joe Rodon's gone the other way, blah, blah, blah. This is actually a good investment. But 40 million, I think he's being priced that high before we even know how he will be able to handle the Premier League. And he's only 18 years of age. That's a lot on his shoulders as well now. I think that's going to put pressure on him. Although I am going to come in with a good side of things. We are now going to, if, again, it's going back to what Stel said, I'm not really sure where he's best played because he's played for in both centre midfield and right back for Leeds. And the boy can tackle, don't get me wrong. He can tackle and he does love travelling forwards with the ball. But if we've brought him in to be more of a utility player or even a replacement as a young player that's going to challenge Porro for that right back position, we've maybe got a little bit of a challenge.
His stats on tackles are actually not too bad. It's 69. It's green, so that is actually quite good. But interceptions,
he's definitely
is very, very, very low.
Yeah.
You're right on the tackling,
and that's not Premier League stats though.
It's not. No, absolutely, Maz. And that's why I'm taking. I'll never say he's going to be fantastic in the Premier League because we just don't know. We're talking about the Championship. There's plenty of players that have come up from the Championship to the Premier League and just simply don't make it. It's as simple as that. It's a completely different
bit like Rodon. Remember Rodon?
Well, yeah, exactly. So I'm not unhappy with the signing. He's definitely a prospect. He's definitely got potential, but 40 million is. I mean, that's a lot on his shoulders already, isn't it? He's going to have to make that 40 million worth the way that he plays.
But the thing is, that pay, that the money that we spent for him precedes him now. The same way the 50 million for Brennan Johnson preceded him, and then it's up. The pressure's on the player to not let the figure that we spent for him be the talking point. If he comes up with the figure all of a sudden will subside. But with Brennan Johnson, where he hasn't necessarily delivered, that 50 million price tag is always ahead of him. It always speaks before it gets to him. So listen, I hope this guy comes in and takes the Premier League like by the storm, the way Dele Alli did years ago when he first come up the ranks. And then he'll be like, it's the best 40 million ever spent.
It's 4 billion quid.
This is no different to Bergvall, is it, Iggy?
I'm not
Absolutely
saying
no different to Bergvall.
No, I'm not saying that this guy is not money. Time will tell us if it was money well spent or not. I just think with that figure, and the areas that we have shortcomings in, I felt that with the budget, and let's be honest, we don't really spend a lot in terms of we don't go out there with 500 million every season. So we know that we've got a quite reduced amount of money to spend in the transfer market. I just think there was much more important players out there to fill in those gaps. But we shall see. I just don't. What it is with Spurs? It's not necessarily about Archie Gray. This stream right here is not about us digging out Archie Gray. Far from it. This is a constant with Spurs year after year where nothing is ever aligned. We have people are saying, we should go with the youngsters, but then the future never comes and the present never arrives. You got tickets going up because we on higher premium. But the quality of the goods are not as good. It's just nothing's ever aligned. It's like a band, a music. You go and watch a band at concert, and you've got the guitarist doing his thing, you've got the drummer doing his thing, the singer doing his thing. Nothing's ever aligned. So how are you ever going to get good music with a guitarist, a drummer, and a singer and a pianist all doing their own thing? Right? It just doesn't work.
The thing is, the manager, right? Obviously, we've got directors of football and other employees of the club that are meant to be doing this. But really, let's be honest, the manager should be aligning all of those mechanisms above him correctly, aligning how the board is going to back him, i.e. telling them this is how I operate, this is what I want, making sure that his vision matches with the football director, making sure that the players that come in through the door matches what he wants for his team. Right, and Anne just said that to us in the press conferences that every player goes through him. No one goes into this squad without him say so. He rings up the players and brings them in. So for me, he's culpable as much as Flange is and Paratici is and Levy,
Right. So
right? Because they're all in bed together, right? And the fact that he's signed off on Vina, right, for whatever money he's playing, we know his salaries are crazy, right? That is not worth that money, right? And BJ for 50 million, and now this kid for 40 million, right? And if the kid's amazing, brilliant, right? Good punt, right? But we know that he's probably not going to get the game time anyway, right? But the fact that Andrew's signing off, right, and going in step with the same shit that we've seen for the last 24 years, right, is why I'm Andrew out. Because he's in step, right, with the hierarchy that have put us in this shithole position that we're in.
Well, Maz, this is my worry for him, for the young kid. If we've paid all this money for him, Ange's, sanctioned this, he wants him, and he's brought him in to be like a backup. Oh, sorry, I can't believe I just used that word. Coming to challenge Porro as a right back, which if we know Emerson is going, that's great. But if he's not going to give him the minutes, because the one thing you don't every week, you don't keep taking off your defence. You don't keep mucking your defence up. You try and keep that as constant as possible. Then he's not going to get the minutes, is he? We've seen that he doesn't like bringing on young players. So I just worry for him more than anything. Is what are we going to end up doing with him?
My big concern with this, and I said it right at the start, was the flip-flopping of the fan base. I just don't know where we're at anymore, because when we signed Brian Gill, our fans said, Gill Messi. Tell me how that's worked out. When we signed Veliz, we were told, good striker, did really well in Argentina. Where are those fans who said that? When all the fans waxed lyrical about Alfie Devine, where are those fans now? Ashley Phillips, we've changed the structure. Really good player. It's all part of the new model Paratici put in place. Where's Phillips? Because we've signed Dragusin. Bergvall, we haven't seen him play. Spence, and we signed him. We've got ahead of the competition. We beat them to it. He wants Tottenham. What's happened with that? And what we're doing yet again, the same fans who bigged up all those young players I've listed, the same fans, and they're in the comments here tonight as well. Rather than just saying, let's see how this goes, let's wait and see what happens. Next wonder kid, we smash Brentford up the park. What a game changer. Tottenham are ambitious. You're doing it again. Iggy said it. We're making the same mistakes again. In fact, Maz said it, and even Lee. Brian Hill, Veliz, Devine, Phillips, Spence. None of them worked out. Why don't we just wait and see what happens with Gray and say, this is a lot of money for what it really is, a punt. That's what it is. What Maz says, it is a punt. Because our history shows that. I don't know, guys. I mean, Veliz was signed under Ange. Phillips was under Ange. Bergvall was under Ange. Gray, another one. So unless we see them all, what are we doing?
We were talking about players earlier on, saying bringing them into context. If a player doesn't play well, is the context of the team that he's playing in a correct one to look? Let me give you an example. Spain at the moment are playing really good football. The context of what they're trying to do is a very good one. So therefore, players like Cucurella, who's a good player, is not an unbelievable left back, but he's a good player. His best qualities come out. So if you've seen Cucurella for the first time ever in the Euros, you think he's a mustard left back, right? You wouldn't recognise that Cucurella to the one that you see during the season at Chelsea. You wouldn't. It's just two different players. If you've seen Chelsea play and you've seen Spain play, and you look at that left back, it's complete night and day, the two players. But is it because Cucurella's rubbish, or is it Cucurella's now looking? It's the context. So if we are going to move with young players, we need to have a context where that at this club, this is what we do. We get a manager that validates them, that makes them play attractive football, and we are that team that are going to get players like Bergvall and Archie Gray and Udogie and the young players with bags of potential, and then we get them to a point of their career they become big teams are coming for him 50, 60 million, and they get you off it, and you do the same process again, similar to what Atalanta does, right? This is what exactly Atalanta does. They get young players, they put a lot of scouts out there, bring quality players in, and then they get 3 or 4 players, make them shoot up, and then they sell them for a big fee. If we're going to be that kind of club like Atalanta, then don't expect to win the league. Expect to make European football every year. Expect to get, a sustainable club where you will never have debts. Atalanta are in a good place right now. If you want to be that club, fine, say it. But don't sell me that, and then in the same breath tell me that we aspire to win the league. We aspire to close, to challenge with it, because we're not going to be. No one's going to get fooled by that, and that's the point I'm trying to make. We're not clear in what it is that we're trying to do.
Here's a scenario, right? And I guess this is a question for everyone on the panel and the guys in the comments. When Gray, Bergvall, Phillips, Feliz next season don't play, and we play near enough the same 14 players, 15 players that we circulate in the squad, what were we going to say then? Another year wasted.
Yeah.
Another year wasted. 2 years under Ange gone. So then what? We're gonna be waiting until the next season again to see those crop of players come in, and then Ange won't even be there. It's just kicking the can down the road.
The excuse will be patient. These things take time, and they'll forget about this season being the championship title contending season. They'll forget the fact that we've spent currently now we're pushing close to £300 million under Ange. We're pushing close to that now. They'll forget that we've spent all that money under one manager, and we don't get Champions League. We don't do well in the cup. How much pressure is Ange going to be to deliver next season, do you think? Or is it going to be
what is he delivering, though, still? What is he expected to deliver? That's the question I'd ask. What is it that we're expecting? This is what I'm saying. You see, what I was trying to say, the example that I used at Atalanta, Gasperini's been there for years now, yeah? Because that's what he's there to do. They've set a very clear strategy. What they want to do is bring on a young talented players coming from.
Atalanta haven't spent the money Spurs have, Iggy.
No, but their strategy is very, very clear.
We're spending 30 million on Bergvall.
I know, still, but what I'm trying to say is
young kids.
What I'm trying to say is that Atalanta set a very clear record by young gems, small cost, and then sell them on at a higher cost once Gasperini has given them the platform to say, yeah, this kid, yeah, he's got bags of potential. He's up there now. Time to move him on. And they do the same, right? But that is what they set out to. I'm not saying Tottenham need to do that. I'm saying that they've got a clear plan of what it is. One of Arsenal for the last 4 or 5 years, very clear plan of what it is they want to do. What is it that we are doing? We want to challenge for the league, but then we want to move like this. This is not a team that's going to be challenging anytime soon.
Bring up Tottenham Eyes comment where it says Andrew's here to.
He's a
I know he's a troll, right? But
I'm reading the comments. With Tottenham. I'm trying to work out what it is that he's trying to get at. He's saying 3-4 years. He's been giving me 3. I don't want to wait 3. Tottenham. I don't want to wait 3-4 years.
He's off the channel months ago, and he's repackaged it, set up a new account, and come in.
I understand, right? But that Ange is here to kickstart a process because that is the similar thought to what everyone thinks when Ange came in, right? He's here to start something new, but he started, like I said, with about 5 different ways of trying to 5 different projects all at the same time. That's not how you start a project. You don't just start 5 different projects at Spurs, because we've been through all the different types of projects and none of them work because we never stick to anything. We never put our money into safe quality signings. We never stick with the manager and back them with the players they want. So what process are we kickstarting here? What process? There is no process at Spurs. We just make it up as we go along.
Do you know? You know what's funny, man? Is that normally you try to go on a project that you've seen someone else do, and you literally just copy and paste it. You know, Ajax have got their model. We just be speaking about Atalanta. We just be Borussia Dortmund is another one. Now, what the thing is, we need to first try and establish what it is. I'm not us here. We know what we want, but the club itself, what is it that they want, and why don't they just go and copy and paste an ideology of what they wish to do at their own club, and then we can agree and disagree with it all. But we are not clear what it is that we want to. They've never. Again, it goes back to what we've said many a times on here. There's nobody at the club that speaks to tell us this is what we plan to do for the next 5-10 years. Or maybe they have spoken even without
But
speaking.
the manager told us we're
have.
going to challenge for the league next season, Iggy. He told us.
So,
He said, "I want the league
but
next season."
where's the actions that are matching with it? Listen, I don't know, guys. I just don't. I don't see what. Do you know what the funny thing is? I don't see at any other club in world football, and the level that's Tottenham's at, doing what we do. I can't identify another club in European and world football that's doing exactly what Tottenham are doing and getting away with it. I don't see it. Name me another European team that does what Tottenham does and gets away with it with their fans, etc.
I think for a so-called big club, like a big six club, you're right.
Yeah. Where any other league?
But Iggy, I don't think we're a big club though. I think we're a big business. I don't think we're a big club anymore. I think we're
not a big club anymore. We're not. We're just not.
Architecture, land, cash flow, profit, sponsorship.
Big in terms of finances, but in terms of football,
on the pitch, I don't think we're a big club. Not anymore.
Go and speak. You know what you want to know about your club. The best way to find out even more about your club is go and speak to other fans in Europe. Yeah, the top 6 clubs. Go and speak to their fans and go and ask them how they view Tottenham.
Yeah, and you know what they say, Iggy? They banter us and they laugh at us.
Yeah, that's when you know. Go and speak to the foreign fans.
Well, they banter us and they laugh at us.
What do you think of Tottenham? That's when you know. That's when you really get the full picture of how the fans view your team.
The thing is, this kid we've signed, he could turn out to be dynamite. He could.
I'm not knocking. There's nothing to do with Andy Gray. The context is beyond Andy Gray. Archie Gray.
Yeah, I get it.
Beyond that.
I get it. It's when are we going to start? I think what's happened here, and what's caused the stir online, as it always does, we've signed a player that divides fans. Like signing Timo is always going to split the fan base because half the fans think he's absolute garbage.
Stelios, we have signed the player that you would expect. Say you signed 3 top players and then you go and get Archie Gray, no problem, mate. Because then you got the 2, 3 that you actually needed, experience, heavyweight, ones that you needed for the areas that you needed, and then you go and sign Andy Gray to bolster that. Then it wouldn't be an issue. The problem is we've made 2 signings. You've got a Werner. What more needs to be said that we haven't already said about him? And then you go and sign a kid with probably bags of potential, but is unproven, certainly in the Premier League. Those are your first 2 announcements. That and bearing in mind what it is what we need to do for next season and how far behind we are from the teams that finished above us. When you look at that, you look at what we're doing, we look at the money we're spending and the players that we're signing, none of it is aligned. And that's the issue that I have with it. Big up, Mr. Box Office.
Do you know what? It's almost like we were hoping to really push on for next season, and this was going to be the window where we go and sign those.
I wasn't. I told you this is exactly what's going to happen, mate. I said, and I've been saying it for months and months and months and months.
You're right. I did go on We Are Tottenham TV and say, I'm done with the project. 2 months ago, I went on their channel and said, I'm done with the project because signing Timo Werner was my red flag. But the worry now is we're signing players that we don't believe make the first team better. They're not making, and the first team
because Ange said this is where we're aiming for.
Our midfield is lacking.
Still, Ange said we're aiming for the top. Right?
Not fit. Skip and Højbjerg aren't good enough. Pape Sarr, again, he's not the level we need. Maybe he'll get there, but he's not now. That whole midfield
Still.
isn't ready. Front
Still.
three, other than we all agree, none of them are good enough. So
Still, Ange said,
where's the
right?
improvement?
Ange said that we're going to be aiming for the title, right? So he's already built our expectations up,
I know.
right? And this is what we're doing, right? And it's not matching up to what he's saying, and that's like a basic thing, right?
If we sign
You've got
Eze,
to manage everyone's expectations.
Maz, if we sign Eze and Ivan Toney, will you move position on this? Will you change your mind?
No, I won't. I'll tell you why. It's not that they're not good players, and it's not that they're not going to improve the team, but I need to see us change on the pitch consistently, right? And that's what Alex said last season. When the bad patch happens, then what happens? I've seen all good players come at Spurs. We see it all the time. You know, we've had the youngsters that look like world beaters. So this youngster coming in now means nothing to me, because as we do with every single player that comes in, we overhype them, and then I don't know, 6 months in, we're like, oh yeah, they're not as good as we thought they were. I mean, look at Maddison. Maddison's a prime example of that, right? I guess Maddison's a little bit different, because you could say, oh, well, we've seen him quite a bit at Leicester, right? But we came in, we were like, we've signed the best midfielder. And then what happened? 10
Yeah,
games
but Maz,
passed,
even
gets
Maddison,
injured.
we had Leicester fans telling us exactly what type of player he was.
I know we did.
He has good spurts. He gets injured. He disappears for the rest of the season, and so we knew what we were getting. We only have to listen to where he's come from to understand what he's going to be like. It's as simple as that.
Seen all before, and it's still they'll always let you down.
Hold on. I've got it somewhere here. Where is it? There it is. They'll always let you down. That was after the 4-0 away last year.
Newcastle away,
Alex,
yeah.
How you doing,
Allison, go on.
Welcome to the channel, my man. You've been doing the rounds, letting everyone know the truth.
I just can't listen. I'm just laughing. Like I just can't. I'm just laughing because it wasn't even based on this transfer window. But I'm just sitting there and just like, okay, here we go. I'm now I list the goals now, putting videos out now. Everyone's now starting putting the rounds out, saying we're doing something now. Don't worry, we're doing something. Yeah, we're trying to put the positive spin on this right now. I'm seeing it right now, and it's the same thing I've said before. You know what I mean? You know.
What's your take on it, man? What's your take on it?
It's been listen, Iggy. If you go back to what if you watch Mr. Box Office TV, right, which you've seen the last couple of episodes, right, the last couple of shows, I've explained where I'm at the moment. Yeah, what I said in June last year, which I said on one show last year, and I stood by what I've stuck by what I've said. Yeah, and then Adrian Sokar said to me, asked me the question about when my breaking point was done, right? The question about when my breaking point was done, when Mourinho came in, when Pochettino was sat, and then I just completely fed up. I was fed up, yeah? Since then, I've not been the same. I've not been the same in my club. I used to defend this team to every day is dawning, yeah? I defended Daniel Levy with the whole thing with the stadium and everything else. Now, I've got to the point now, I see exactly where we're going with this. Right, I can see exactly where we're going with this. This is not what Ange wants, because Ange wants to win the league. You're not going to win the league with youngsters, right? Especially nice players, yeah, right. Which is a whole reason why I wanted arrogant player like Ivan Toney in my team. I know he's a risk, but I'd rather have someone like that in my team, right? That is going to still have the self-confidence to still play well and still try and score goals rather than someone who's nice. I look at this player right now. He's come into a team with lots of nice players that have won anything. The only player that's really won anything is Romero and Bentancur, right? And we all know now where people think about Bentancur right now. You know what I mean? So for me, at the moment, it wasn't even based on this transfer window, but by the fact that we haven't heard nothing from the board saying what is the plan. I don't know what Tottenham are as a team at the moment. I don't know what we are, what we want to be. I don't know what we want to be. Do we want to win? Or what do we want to do? I've got no idea what we want to do. Maz has said it perfectly clearly. You know what I mean? So what do we want to do? What is the plan? What is the plan for this guy? We ain't even got a coach because Ange's not a good coach. He's not a good coach. So at the moment, I've got all these people are coming in, right? We've elevated this other guy that was under Mason. Now he's senior assistant. We've got these two coaches that have come in, and no one improved last season, right? I'm not talking about the signings that we brought in. No one, player development wise, improved last season, right? Because we have one game a week with these players, and no one improved, right? In terms of all the players that came from Conte's era, right? Poro and Adoji did not improve for me. They kept on inverting. It was ruining their games. Yeah, Romero can do more, 100 times more, right? The fact that Van der Ven was kept on playing at centre back when he couldn't play left back and played Dragusin in there, and Dragusin's making Ange look like a fool right now. Made him look like a fool, not playing him.
He's having a good Euros.
Exactly. Yeah. And the front three is I've told you about the front three. Useless. But they're training well though. They're doing all this stuff right now. Yeah. And the fact that he's now talking on ITV saying, "Oh, Southgate, play some more youngsters, bro." So why are you not playing youngsters yourself, bro? Hypocrite.
Angie's a fool, man. Honestly, he's
sorry,
bringing in these
I'm not...
assistant managers, right, and coaches from these crap leagues, right, and we're expected to challenge.
And he didn't improve. Poro did not improve because Poro, if you want to talk about proper wingers, talk about Cascalia, bro. That's a proper winger. That's a proper player. That's a guy that I want to see talking, getting past his man, walking past, running past players, skill, quality.
The other night.
That's Cascalia. That's the one. That's the sort of guy that's going to get him off my feet. That's what sort of guy I'm going to get off my feet. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Nico Williams, £42 million release clause. Nico Williams. We just spent 40 on which I hope a talented young player. But nonetheless, again, improving in the Premier League. Nico Williams, we saw the other night, he was absolutely destroying everyone. And he has been destroying everyone this year. He's got a £42 million release clause. So the money's there, guys. The money's there. It's just
what is Ange doing at the Euros?
Iggy, this is going back to my point before, where I wasn't being positive. I was just saying Tottenham need to get stuff done early.
You're allowed to be positive, by the way.
Oh no, I'm just trying to say. Yeah. I knew they wouldn't, but we had to get stuff done early. This has done nothing more than cement in my mind that someone like Nico Williams is never coming to Tottenham. The performances that he's been putting in for Spain. But we still, but
because
the point is still, we've still got people. We've still got people in Tottenham channels chatting, going, "Yeah, we can go and get him. No, we can't. He doesn't want to come to us. Why would he? I wouldn't.
We're not interested.
So let's not even
Instead
talk about
Ange
it. Let's talk about
working
someone
his
else.
arse off. Instead of Ange working his arse off with Lange, identifying the players they want, right? As he said before the season finished, I was ripping up all the plans and adjusting things and all that stuff, and that they've been preparing since Christmas for the next wave of players. Oh, what bollocks. You're telling me that they've been waiting until now to sign Gray all the way from back at Christmas time? What nonsense. And they're telling me, right, that Werner from then they're thinking, oh yes, come the summertime, we're definitely going to sign him.
I just think it's so annoying when we built this stadium. Okay, £1 billion we spent building this stadium, and it was from what we were told, so we can compete with the best, so we can challenge, and this was a key part of the finances, and now we're buying more kids. It's almost like, well, you could have bought kids in the old stadium. Well, you didn't need this new stadium and £800 million worth of debt. We signed Dele Alli in the old stadium for $5 million, right? We signed Gareth Bale for, was it $10 million?
I think Lee's got a point though.
Why have we bought then? And then I'm seeing England play absolutely rubbish, but they win because they've got quality. And 9 times out of 10, quality will shine through. And quality will win you games. Like Kane carried us for years. Quality does things that other players on the pitch can't do. That's why they're quality.
Look,
And here we are playing Johnsons and
that stadium was built for two reasons:
Allisons and,
NFL,
this is not going to be
and
nice.
concerts. That's it.
I thought the
That
whole
stadium
point of the
stadium was built for that. It weren't built for
find
football.
a future Bellingham. I thought it was so that we could sign or keep players like Harry Kane. But this is where I'm just confused with. I don't get what we're doing.
Can I just come back to what
NFL,
you're saying though?
boxing, concerts, new stadium was built solely for that. There's nothing. I'll say it again in case it was missed many other times before. That stadium, if you look at it from the outside, it says nothing about football. There's nothing to make you think, for a neutral looking in, that stadium says this is a football stadium. This is an event stadium, man. NFL, boxing, concerts. That's why that stadium was built. Not for football reason.
Can I just come back on what Lee's saying though? Because I didn't see earlier because I was on another show. But from what Lee's saying, yeah, that I understand where he's coming from. That we're not going to get those players. That's fine. I understand that. And I think to his point, to try and add to his point, I say, yeah, you can make a good team with it's functioning with everyone that in who can work the system, right? So if you get the right centre backs, right back, full backs, the right midfielders, the number 8s, number 6, and the striker and the forward line, if you could sort that out and it functions well, there's no reason why we can't have a team like, for instance, you're looking at the Euros at the moment. I know that's international football. When you look at the Switzerland or a Austria, for instance, if it's all functioning well, you can be a very good team. You get what I'm saying? So I can adhere to that point, but I just at the moment for me, I just feel that I don't feel that Tottenham will get away with that for me, and I don't think we know what sort of type of team we are at the moment, and I need to see it for me, and that's it for me, you know. I don't think it'll be good enough to compete with the likes of Man City, Arsenal, at Chelsea, Liverpool, and I don't think we'll have the patience. I don't think we'll have the patience because as soon as this board, this fan base go mad, I think they'll sack him. I just don't know what the whole thing is, but I do see where Lee's coming from. I do actually see where Lee's coming from, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Just to add to his point, I have to be honest.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult one. The biggest, the frustration point now, and I think it's a lot of us is the same thing, is that there's no commitment to any plan, because there isn't a plan ever announced. There isn't anything to say that where we're heading towards. What is the plan? We're talking one hand of challenging for the league or closing the gap between the ones above, and then how do we respond to that by signing Werner, and a kid, an unproven kid? It could be, listen, it could be an absolutely talented kid, and I'm sure he will do well, but 40 million is a hefty price on top of the 50 that we've already spent on the likes of Brennan Johnson. So it's a lot. It's a lot going there, man. It's a lot riding on something to work. And I'll say it again, in the context, you have to look at the context that you're bringing him in. It's not that we are a well-oiled machine that's going at 100 miles an hour, that any players coming in can be like, you know what, you're coming into a context that works, and so therefore the percentages of you succeeding in this context massively heightened because of the way we're playing. We're still are a team that are trying to find a real identity in the way. Last year we got a very Jekyll and Hyde team. We got the first 10, and you got the middle 10, and the last 10. And if you on the base of those 10, 10, and 10 games that we played. It's very hard to which one are we. So we have to answer that question next season. To do that, and then with young players coming in, hoping that they hit the heights. There's a lot riding on a lot of things, and a manager that's not here for it could be for 1 year, 2 years. Do we have a manager that's going to be here for 5, 6, 7 years? Really commit to what it is that we're trying to establish to do? No, because we don't want that. We don't want that.
Iggy, do you know what I was thinking as well? The one thing, and this comes back down to having the plan and stuff like that, right? You look at all of the other teams that use youngsters. And listen, I'm not calling out Gray. I think he's a talent. I really do. And I think he could, in a couple of years' time, he's going to be really, really good talent. My only issue with the whole scenario is the price. I think he's well overpriced. But you think of the other teams that, when you're bringing in these youngsters, the likes of Mainu, right? At United, you've got Bruno Fernandes in front of him. You bring these youngsters in at City, you've got Rodri in front of him. Same at Liverpool, etc., etc. Who have we got that honestly these youngsters can look up to as a role model to bring them in and develop them? That's the way I see it at Tottenham, and that's why there's no plan. We don't have established players that these kids can go, do you know what? That's who I want to aspire to. I'm gonna watch him at every match. I'm gonna watch him at every training session. It's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be hungry. I'm gonna, Gray's coming in, and he's basically up against Porro, who we all agree is not the best when it comes to defending, right? Great when he's going forward. So what's he going to learn from Porro? Not much at all, really, is he? The only places where we've maybe got a player that can learn off of these players is maybe Phillips can learn off of, I don't know, Van der Ven's still young, but listen, he's years ahead of his time in terms of the way that he handles himself, and Romero right now, okay? Left back, we've got absolutely nothing, right? Bergvall, we're bringing him in. We hope that he's going to be fantastic. But again, who has he got to learn off of in our midfield? It could be a case that literally he walks in today and he goes out into that training field and Andrew will stand there and just say, do you know what? He's actually better than all three of them that we've got there. He's 18. But what's that going to do for him? It's nothing. He's going to put so much pressure on him. And I think that's why he doesn't like playing kids. But if we haven't got any experience there for them to guide them and help them, what's the point of bringing them in? Can't rely on the coaches, because the coaches aren't ones that are playing the football and under the pressure of a match. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. We need the foundation before you bring in the kids to develop them, especially if they're not coming through our academy. You've got to have that. You've got to have them to learn and nurture off of other players. And I just don't think we've got a team that other youngsters can nurture off of. Suckle the titty and all that. It's not there. I'm shut up now.
Well, we have signed this coach, Nick Montgomery, who was fired after 8 months as manager of Hibs. It seems a bit of a mates club that Andrew's creating, but then again, you want to work with people that you know. The problem is, I had fans saying to me, just because you're not a good manager doesn't mean you're a bad coach. And I said, the best managers tend to be good coaches. So I'm sure Arteta can coach before he managed. I'm sure Mourinho could coach before he managed. I'm sure a lot of managers have got coaching ability, because if you're not a good coach, then how can you manage your coaches if you don't know what they're supposed to be doing? So I think the modern day manager needs to be a good coach as well. Poch was a good coach before he was a good manager. Some people say he's not a good manager. So, you're bringing in a failed manager and you're going to say to him, coach. Chris Ramsey, brilliant youth coach, but then he went up to the first team and it was a disaster. So I'm just lost. The fact Ryan Mason's still part of the coaching team alarms me. The fact we desperately need a set piece coach and we haven't addressed it, that worries me as well. So I don't know.
It's a lot of proof. It's a lot of seeing, isn't it? Right now, isn't it? It's a lot of just saying, well, we have to see, we have to prove it to us, isn't it? That's the thing. That's the thing, and until you prove it, that's it. And I think we have a right. I think the problem I have at the moment, and the thing I listen, whether people think I'm negative, I should be ran off YouTube shows. I couldn't give a monkeys because I'm bulletproof. You know what I mean? I'll just bench that all day long, and that's it. But the thing that annoys me is that because I say I don't like Ange, they say you've not got football knowledge because you don't agree with me. That's where I just think you're boring. You're boring. You know what I mean? You know, and it's just like for me, it's just like I've gave my reasoning why I don't think this is not going to work. You know what I mean? It's like if the terms were told if the terms happen what I want from what I want from my club to say what they say about Ange and give me what I want, I would have the reason to believe at the moment. I understand the project, but at the moment, I've got no idea what this project is. I don't know what Tottenham is all about. That's why I keep on going back to years, previous years. You know, with the previous managers that we had, 1960. Keith Birkinshaw. You know, Keith Birkinshaw left this club saying I don't know whether there's a football club anymore, you know, and this is the thing. I don't know what we're doing at the moment. I don't know, and for me, all this investment we talk about as well. This is nothing to do with the club, you know. And I think he's already said this already when he came in. He's not here for the football, and it's clear we're not here for the football. You know, it's just all sound bites and that's it. And this signing sums it all up perfectly for me. Because what is the plan for Archie Gray? What is the plan?
Alex, do you know what?
What is his end goal?
Alex, I am so simple when it comes to Spurs. As in, I'm so straightforward with it. For the last 5 years, I've been spot on. We've failed. We've not won anything. And since we sacked Poch, we haven't really come close, other than Mourinho, who got to a final, we sacked him. But again, that is all on Levy, that. Right? So for the last 5 years, I've been right because we continue to fail. And we don't really get close to success. So all those people that say, oh, you're negative or I'm negative, they're the negative ones. And I just laugh at it now because they're wrong every single year. They are living in failure of what they say not coming true. Yet I'm the one, like you and others, what we say is coming true every single season. We are the most positive, real speaking fans and others like us. And those on the other side of the coin, you're negative, you're pessimistic, you're this, but you're wrong. You people are wrong every single year, man. You're consistently wrong. If there's an award for being wrong, you win it, hands down. So the negativity is on the other side of the coin. I'm simple. If we start signing proven talent, Chiesas, Kvaratskhelia, Eze's, Elise's, if we start signing these players, 3 every window, something like that, 2 or 3 every window, at that point, my argument doesn't exist anymore because we're doing the thing that I'm saying needs to be done if we want to win trophies. I've been so clear. If we want to win trophies, you need to sign quality because that's how difficult the competition is. And we've got the money to do it. We have got the money to do it. Sign 2 or 3 proven players. A Van der Vaart, sign 2 or 3 Van der Vaarts every summer. And in 3 years' time, I've got no legs to stand on. My argument is dead. Then it's all on the manager. Over to you. Show me. But when we don't do it, and I see Timo Werner, I see Gray, I see Veliz, I know how it ends. We might go on a 20-game unbeaten run next season. I'm telling you, I know how it ends. Unless we start signing those top players. I'm so simple. Sign those top players and I'm silent.
And also,
that's all I'm saying needs to be done. But we're not doing it. We are choosing not to do it. And by the way, I hate agreeing with Maz, but he is right. He is right, in my view. Ange is complicit now. He is complicit in this because he's allowing it to happen.
Yeah, but
So
also last point. Yeah, there was something it came out a couple of weeks ago about FFP, right? About all the other teams are trying to get themselves out of it and stuff like that. Yeah, right. Why is it Tottenham fans are so focused on other teams with what they're doing and not focusing on ourselves when we're supposed to be FFP kings and we've got the advantage and we're acting like we're not taking advantage whatsoever. All we're doing is trying to pick off on the teams that have got FFP problems, and that's it. But we're not putting our chest out and saying let's go for it, and that's it. But all we're doing is saying we look at that club and thinking, oh, Aston Villa, why are they doing that for? Oh, why are they doing that for? Oh, they're doing. Oh, that's not that looks a bit shady. And we're comparing about other
yeah,
people again,
they're cooking the
it's just
books. They're
they're
bending
cooking the
the
books, and
rules.
I'm just like, why do I need to? I don't care. And it's just like again, it's like making things that are more important that shouldn't be important. The finance again, making finance more important than actually what the football. What again, making us a business club and a football club again. But then that's negative. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's the same patterns I see every single time, right? And this is why I've switched off. I switched off on the Euros. And I think football's dead because the fact is, yeah, and I don't think the Euros has been that great, and it's not been great tournament football for quite a while now, right? Because quality wise, it's now looked as value, right, and wonder kids, right, rather than actually quality. And that's why I keep on talking about that guy as Cascalia, because for me, that's quality for me. That's what football's all about, getting you off your feet. There used to be players like that back in the 90s. They're all gone. And I think that's why now you'll see more systematic players because teams and managers can't take risks anymore. They can't do it anymore. They can't take risks on a Maverick anymore. So when you've got your Undombeles, yeah, your Ivan Tonys, your characters, yeah, your Sanchos, yeah, they ain't got time for that. So then you got your like Gallagher's coming across, coming in. You got your like the players that are just goody two shoes. Yeah,
Alex, do you know what it is? I'm just thinking exactly the same thing watching this Euros, and I remember when I was growing up watching the World Cup and the Euros, you think about all these players that you used to wait and watch and see. You get the Zidanes, the Maradonas, the all of these players, all these players from 80s and 90s and 2000s that you used to, all of their names. You used to get the stickers and stuff like that. I think the problem with it is in back then, I say back then, like, I feel really old now, but we never got to see these players outside of World Cups, or if we were lucky enough to get Italian football on a Sunday morning. Before, when I was growing up, you heard of Barcelona and Real Madrid, but you never got to watch it. I got to watch Milan and Inter Milan because we used to watch Go Lazio on a Sunday morning. That's what we used to get up and watch. It's something different from the Premier League. Nowadays, you can just go and watch them on YouTube. It's lost all of its. It's just lost all of the. Oh yeah, we're going to get to see these players. We're going to get to see this. Oh, fantastic! That's all gone now. You know who they are. You know how they play, and you're absolutely right. There's absolutely no spark to wanting to watch these games. I think this has been one of those boring tournaments I've ever watched. The only games I've actually enjoyed watching is Georgia, because they've put every last bit of heart and soul into every game they've played, and a couple of the lower ranked teams where they were playing each other. Other than that, I've not enjoyed watching
Lee,
France, Germany, Italy, England, anyone.
Do you think it's because as well they've opened up the competition to too many teams, and it's just allowed a lot of average teams in, and not necessarily teams that have had to really, really battle to qualify for the Euros? Because there's a lot of teams in the Euros now. Some of these teams are they're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all about money, right? At the end of the day, the more variety of countries and that they let in, the more TV, merchandise, etc., etc. That's all it's about. It's all about the money. It's not about the trophies and that anymore nowadays, is it? It's about names on shirts and stuff like that. Iggy, you're on mute.
There was a bigger gap between the bigger nations, so to speak, and the smaller nations. A clear gap. I don't see that big gap. Either the little nations, so to speak, have got better, or the bigger nations are not as good as they once were. Simple as that.
Ben, sorry, you're right. Spain. I still think Spain are winning this tournament.
I think Spain, Germany.
They've got. I'll tell you why. Because they've got two quick wide players that attack down the flanks, which is something that a lot of the other teams either don't have or haven't had enough to trouble other teams. I
they
think
create a lot of chances, don't they? They create a lot of chances.
France looks solid. I think France looks solid. They're not quite hit the gears yet, but structurally speaking, they look a team. And I think that when the head-to-head comes, you will see the switch. So
don't England avoid all these teams until the final?
Yeah.
We'll have Switzerland, and then if we manage to get past them,
Netherlands, Austria, that side.
England always get a nice pathway to the end, don't they?
Well, up until about 30 seconds towards the end of the game yesterday, it wasn't very plain sailing, was it?
It hasn't been pretty football. It has not been pretty football, but at the end of the day, we are still there now. We're in the quarterfinals. I'll be there on Saturday watching it, but don't get me started. I don't even want to discuss Southgate.
Do you know? I've got my tweet ready, right? If England win the Euros, my tweet is
bring him home. Bring Gareth to Spurs.
No. My tweet's ready. Funny how when England play rubbish, but win the Euros, that's great. But when Mourinho gets us to a final, you want him out because the football's crap. I'm just saying. You know. Right. Now it's all right not to play good football as long as you win it. But at Tottenham, it's not allowed if you win a trophy at Tottenham. Oh, no. My dad's got money actually. My dad's put it on England France final. England to win it.
You know what's funny, like, because you can't. This European football, man, it's like, what is it? 7 games to make a final. So it's a small tournament. It's a close, like, it's not like a league or anything like that. You have to play 38 games. Everything's got to happen quick. You know, your players have got to be informed. They've got to be like good health. And you've got to hit the ground running, qualify for the groups. And then after those 3 games, you've literally got 4 games to make the final. So, I don't know, man.
He's woken up.
What's happening with you rugby people?
What's happened to the
Archie?
What happened to the Nike tick there? Is that how it is?
It's how we support our manager, man. That's the other side, isn't it? It's how we support our manager. And to all our friends in Australia.
I think that's gonna be the way that Nike tick's gonna be a sign of how our season's gonna go, man.
Up to the top, baby. You're right, Iggy.
I do think if we make 3 really, really top signings, I think things will be good next season. Not winning trophies, but it'll be a lot better. But I just don't think we're going to make those signings. I don't.
We're not going to get a striker.
Listen, it's pivotal to this. I know you're talking about a striker, Alex, but I'm telling you, the way that Ange plays is absolutely pivotal that we get a number 6. It all hinges on that, I'm afraid, for me, because as you say, you get a striker and you can score 50 goals. But if you've got a defence that's as open as ours was last year and you're skiing C64, you ain't winning shit, right? It's as simple as that. He's got to change his ways. He's got to play more like he played against City and the last game, who was at Sheffield United, where he tweaked it a bit. He's got to learn that he can't go full pelt with the way that he does things in the Premier League. It just doesn't work. If he changes and we get that pivotal number 6 to keep the defence, protect them, then I think we'll see a different team. But again, it depends whether the ambition of the club is to go and get a good number 6 and then get the wide players and the forwards. It's as simple as that. I mean, what
number 6?
It's not rocket science.
Lee, just to answer your question, what what number 6 would you prefer at the moment to bring in? Would
Listen, I don't scout enough. I don't believe that it's any point looking at any of the big clubs with a proven number 6 because you just ain't going to get them. We need to get, someone that goes under the radar in one of the, mid-table teams in, Italy or from around Europe that so you know what? I'm sometimes I think looking at places like Italy and Spain and stuff like that, it really is the worst thing you can possibly do because the style of football there, especially if you're looking at a player of that caliber, it just doesn't work because I think it's a lot more physical in the Premier League than it is in Spain and Italy. You get a lot more time. So, and I think that's why Rodri took a little while to come good. But that guy there, I'll tell you what, he's probably. You just see, it doesn't matter what team you put him in, what league you play in him, you see him, he plays exactly the same every time. He's an absolute rock in the centre of that midfield for no matter what team he plays for. But you need to find something of his ilk. That's me, but I don't know where that's coming from. It's not going to come from a team that's got someone that's solid in that position because you're just not going to prize him away. So you need to find a gem of the same kind of ilk, the same kind of mold.
He did become that player though, didn't he? He at the start he came in.
He wasn't like
he wasn't that
today.
great, but I think he just grown into the role. But I think the difference is at the moment. I think this is where this is why I think Archie Gray is a confusion for me. We don't have those players at the moment. I don't know if we've got the coaching staff or the players at the moment to help someone develop into their role. You know what I mean?
Completely agree.
And this is where I think we're going wrong at the moment. If we had the likes of the players that have actually won and this is where I come to arrogance and swag at the moment. And I think we've got too many nice players at the moment. I just think that would help us develop someone into a number 6. I actually truly think that at the moment we're missing a trick with Romero at the moment, and I think that's going to be a problem. Maybe this summer or next summer if we don't do anything. I think he's going to be angling because that Real Madrid link. There's something in that. Let's be honest here. There's something in that, and I think we're going to have to focus on some of the players that we got. And I think Romero can play that role. I think you could develop it into that role. Romero into that number 6 role. I just think just give it a try.
Alex, see, this is where I would disagree with you because I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, put Romero as a number 6." But if you watch Romero, one of my biggest issues with him last year, and I think you all agreed with this when I called this out, is that when he plays out from the back, he's so slow and he's walking it out. There's no urgency to it, and I think that for me is an issue in a number 6 position. You can't be lounging on the ball because people are going to be on top of you, and that's why I don't think he'd work in number 6. But I'm not coaching the guy, I don't know, but it's my opinion that he's gone this summer anyway. I still think he's going this summer.
Is that also that people don't show for him enough?
I don't think any of our midfield or anyone move enough. I think we're such a static team. I don't get how we manage to pass the ball around because we're so static, and it's so important that the players without the ball are moving around to make the space. That if you're just static, no wonder you can't make a pass off. Don't matter if it was Rodri in there or not. If the other players aren't moving around, then you're easy to defend against. It's as simple as that. It's simple, basic.
If you come to the games like me and Stel, that's one of the biggest things we shout about. It's the fact that yes, we've got top 3, but none of them move around a lot. And we don't even play the ball behind, so they can chase onto these speedy.
So is it him that's playing too slow? Or is it because there's no movement in front of him, which is why I can't play? It's context. I said it earlier on.
It's things, long balls up to no one, and the defenders just headers it back.
If you look at the individual player, you have to look at the context that the player is playing in, and you look at him for Argentina. There's different gravy when he plays for them.
South America
not just in his tackling, it's just the way he plays and plays the ball out. And I'm not a fan of converting players that are established centre backs to then play in midfield. I get it in an emergency situation, you might do that because you've probably got injuries and stuff like that.
You want to go and get a
but when I'm reading that we have to convert Romero into a holding mid to allow Dragusin play centre back, and I'm like, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't for
you
me.
need to go and
Defend-
get a number 6.
Can't get the player that you require, and if Dragusin can't get into the team, then sell him.
But
There's no
Iggy,
point in playing keeping players.
you're talking about context, right? Talking about context.
Yeah.
This is exactly Dragusin's a prime example, right? He's been bigged up completely at the Euros. He had fantastic Euros. Stell was spot on when they played against Belgium.
Oh, the high line.
He was getting cooked
By
by Lukaku, one of the largest, slowest guys up front. He was getting cooked by him. It's all he might be great against a
Then he
a
wasn't the
lower
right fit
team,
for Spurs.
but
Then,
when you
if we're going to play like that, he's not the right fit. Then
Well,
whoever
If
identifies
we play a high line, if we play a high line with Dragusin, he's going to get absolutely torn to pieces.
why did we sign
If
him
we
then?
play lower back, if we play lower, like if we drop the line 15, 20 yards, he looks like an old-fashioned centre half.
So he's
But
not fit for
last couple
purpose.
of games, at the end of the season, we did though, didn't we?
yeah, we did.
We dropped back.
I said
slightly.
that, Iggy, yeah.
But that's why I said. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I said. If we play a high line, Dragusin's is rubbish.
So he's not fit for purpose. Why did we buy him?
Well, it depends if we play a high
Replacement for
line.
Romero.
If
He's
we
off.
don't, if we don't
We
play a
beat-
high
we
line,
beat- we beat Bayern
he
Munich,
looks,
Iggy.
he looks solid. Looks like a solid player.
This is what I'm
It all
saying.
depends how we play.
You see when I was saying earlier about things not being aligned. Even the players that we bring in a player that it's not really suit for purpose. So the high line is not for him. Why we bought him? Does that mean Dragusin's a bad player? No, he's just not fit for purpose.
The
If
only
this is how we wish to
the
move
only
forward.
player we've got that can play the high line is Van der Ven. He's the only one that can realistically do it.
And even then,
No one
he's
else can
snapping
do it.
hamstrings.
Romero don't have pace, really, does he?
He hasn't got the
So
pace for it
and,
now.
and it,
Adogi,
and it does seem
he's,
it does
well,
seem almost
Adogi's
that he's a
playing as a number
replacement
10.
for Romero, isn't he?
Adogi's in the number 10 role, so he hasn't got time to get back.
Yeah, but that's the managers and instructions, you know. It's just how he sets them up. You know, we was talking about inverted fullbacks earlier. I don't think these guys wake up today and think, "Oh, I'm going to
But
play an inverted fullback."
this is why Man City, when they played a high line, Kyle Walker's the last man because, well, maybe not so
He's
much now, but
pacey.
he had the
Yeah.
rapid pace to recover. But they put Rodri in front. Now, when Rodri was missing, we all know what happens to Man City because that's the cover for the last man on the high line. We
Well,
don't
they'll
have that
play
number
John
6.
Stones.
Lee was banging on about it all last year. This system will work if we get a top number 6. The problem is, fans are now saying that this young lad Gray is going to be the number 6. That's quite alarming.
He's not a number
It's a
6.
lot of
I don't know. He's not really.
Lee. I'm just going by
he's-
what people are saying online in the comments. I don't know where he plays. I don't know where we're going to play him. I don't know.
I don't think you can put someone as number 6, an 18-year-old, right? All that pressure on him, right? He must be a very good number 6. He must be a very good player if he can play number 6 at 18 years old. You know what I mean? So
See, now
for
Wayne,
me,
yeah.
Alex,
Wayne, he's a Leicester fan. He watches the Championship week in, week out. He warned us about Maddison. He's telling us this kid's nothing special. Wayne was spot on about Maddison. This is a Championship watching fan. He knows the Championship better than any of us here, unless you guys watch Championship a lot. I don't think you do.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, I don't. But the fact that he's broken into the Leeds team and played 30 odd games or whatever it is all season for Leeds, that must count for something at the age of 17, 18, right?
Didn't Oliver Skip do that in the Championship for Norwich as well, JP?
Yeah. Has he been given a chance at Spurs?
Well,
he had a little
Skip
bit
played
of
a lot under
chance.
Mourinho. Mourinho loved Skip, didn't he?
And he was all right then, wasn't he?
I think the thing is, look, we don't know. The issue is this: when you take a player from the Championship and you bring them to the Premier League, and not just the Premier League, the top 6 of the Premier League, that is a massive jump. It's one thing going from Championship and playing the Premier League. Like we saw Luton Town, they went from Championship to the Premier League. They gave a go, but eventually they got relegated, right? Because the jump was too big for those Championship players. Can this young lad go from Championship to Premier League and the Big 6 and play Europe in the Europa Cup? It's a humongous jump he's got to make.
Yeah, but he's one player and he's got another 21 players in the squad to help him along, right? He doesn't have to do it all on his own.
JP, when you say that
Correct.
statement,
Correct.
Some,
We spent
some
40
might
million
say,
on him.
some might,
We
but
spent
some
JP,
might
when
say,
you make that statement,
some might say we do have 21 championship players there anyway.
yeah, but JP, you make that statement. You make that statement. For me, at the moment,
We've already
right,
got championship players. You're
you can make that statement all day long, but we've got players that are losers at the moment, right? You ain't got players that have won stuff like Man City, so you're not coming
Right.
into a changing room with mentality of saying, well, if you come into this changing room, mate, you're fighting for your place, right? You got players that are, kind of just sounding their plate in the starting lineup, yeah,
Yeah, but
and
some of
that's
them are
it.
going out the door, aren't they?
Yeah, but
It's
the
not
problem
all
is,
of them, right?
but JP, you ain't got players right now that have got the mentality of winning. The only players that you've got
Is
is
Romero not a winner?
Bentancur and Romero. That's it.
And does the goalkeeper not G everyone up and shout
Well, yeah,
at them?
but the point I'm making is that you're not coming into a changing room of winners at the moment.
So
So,
we're not that team. We're
well,
not that team,
that's
though,
the
are we?
point. That's the point I'm making. So
Okay,
this is the thing.
but
It's like,
how can we become that team? Do we just say, "Oh, fuck it"?
well, yeah, but the problem
We'll
is
just bring in no
the
one,
problem
and
is,
the mentality
JP.
of the club will always
I
be crap.
can only go back on history. That's all I can go back on is
I know,
history.
but
And at the moment,
at some
like
point,
winning
history we have to
mentality.
try and change history, right?
Well, no, it won't change. No, it won't. Because the thing is, though, regardless what Ange is saying, right, he hasn't got the players to do it. You can say whatever you want at Celtic. They've got the history of winning. They've got the history of winning. So he's coming in. The expectation is you got to win the league, son. He's sitting there thinking, all right, mate. You know what I mean? And then he goes and wins the league. How many times? And then wins the treble. So for him, the matching's there. But when you've got
someone's made a good point, Alex. Someone's made a good point in the chat, right? Another player that had brilliant stats, looked good from the Championship, came to Spurs. It was a disaster. Ryan Sessegnon absolutely tore up the Championship. Came to the Premier League, did all right for Fulham. They got relegated. We brought him to Spurs, and it's been a disaster. And even when he was fit, which wasn't often, fair play to him, he was injured a lot. When he was fit, he didn't really show us much.
Is it more Spurs that can't pick a player from the Championship? Because surely there's players from the Championship that have stepped up to Premier League teams and done well.
JP, I've always said the most
It's
important thing for a young player, right? For me, the most important thing for any young football player that goes from 16, 17 to 18, 19, 20, 21, that final stage of youth development is you've got to be playing week in, week out. It's more important than training. Training prepares you for the match, but the match makes you. That's what makes you, okay? And the good thing about this Gray kid is he plays week in, week out for Leeds. So he's getting game time. That's probably why he's on our radar. That's probably why Brentford want him, because he's showing he's got some match readiness about him.
And that one game against Chelsea, he was really good, apparently.
Yeah, that one game against Chelsea, like Ndombele, that one game against Man City. Yeah, what a great signing he was. Right. If he comes to Spurs and he doesn't get regular minutes week in, week out, he is going to deteriorate. Without a question of a doubt, he will go backwards. That's 100% what I said,
because I said the same to you about Dane Scarlett. Like, at the end of the day, we pushed him out, brought him back, and literally that boy's not played any football. And like, what is he doing? We've kind of almost, I don't know, in a way, wasted him.
Well, this is the point, JP. What is the plan? What is the plan?
The plan is a hotel. You know that.
This is the point.
You already
this is the
know
point
that.
I'm making. What is the plan for these players at the moment? What is the plan? I don't know what Spurs are all about. You get what I'm saying? It's like, well, you people say to me, I'm being negative, yeah, right? Again, but the thing is that when I say
you're not negative, Alex, because you're spot on. What you said last year, you were spot on.
I know, but
at the start of the season, everyone came for you. You called it, and you were right.
Yeah,
last season you were right.
No, I'm just saying, but what is the plan? Because at the moment, I don't know what the plan is. What is Tottenham all about here? Because you're telling me to believe. I'm not telling anybody on this panel, but what are you telling me? What is the plan with this player? What is the plan with the signings we're doing at the moment? What is your expectation for next season? You see what I'm saying? What is the plan? Because at the moment, I don't know where the correlation is with Ange and our plan at the moment.
Well, you know
where we are. What is this plan with this him for 4 years? You see what I'm saying? It's
Maybe the plan
is
is Andrew's going to progress to Sky Sports punditry instead of ITV. So next year he'll be more Sky Sports.
Step up a level.
He'll be in Channel 4 by December.
He's gonna up his game.
It's just that's why I'm asking the thing, because I don't know where we're going with it. That's what I don't understand, and because no one's explaining anything to me, right? And it said, well, it's a business. Well, big businesses, explain what where they want to go. What's the end goal? And I don't know what the end goal is. Like, what's the plan for the under 21s? What's that?
Sell them.
What is
None of those kids are going to play for Spurs next year. I've said it a million times. I repeat. And the fact we've signed another youngster from another club is further proof that none of our under 21s. Bergvall's the only one they're going to give a crack to. Maybe this kid, because they spent 40 million. You're not going to see any academy player playing for Spurs next season. It's not happening. It's for the birds.
Watch when Bergvall has a good
first
10 games. Watch when Bergvall has the first good 10 games. Watch when Bergvall has the first good 10 games.
Generational. You'll be generational.
And then everyone's going to be twerking for him as well. You get what I'm saying? It's like the whole thing, isn't it? And then and like the motivation guy he says, "All right, mate."
That's not a penalty. Sorry.
No, it's not.
I thought it was on mute. Sorry, but yeah, that's not a penalty.
No, but it's just I'm just being honest. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? It's just like saying, well, just be positive. Just have hope. And I'm like,
but hold on. See, hold on. I need to crush this. It's a fallacy. We are positive because we're honest. When you're honest and you're authentic, you are the most positive person out there. When you lie and you live in denial and you're wrong every single year, you are the most negative, self-destructive person out there. Do you know how much negativity and self-destructiveness exists in the Spurs fan base? Because they lie. They don't admit,
lying to themselves.
Like
though. That's even worse.
Mad.
That's even
We've
worse
been right
than lying to other people. They lie to themselves, and every year, right? They believe all of the PR, the spin machine. Then they lie to themselves once more. Oh yeah, we can do this. Oh yeah, we're bringing in these young players. Oh yeah, we can do this. Oh yeah, we can do that. We'll bring in this manager. That will fix everything. And then another year passes, and another new manager comes in, and it's a reset. Like like the goldfish that forgets something every 5 seconds, and it's like his life resets. It's exactly like Spurs fans, but we do it every season.
Story,
That's it. Yeah.
Alistair Gold now has done a video right now. He's done a video right now on Archie Gray, because basically now, because you see the sound bites. As soon as we make the signing, it's like, oh, let's do the sound bites now. Let's put the sound bites to the Tottenham fans now. The sound bites now saying, yep, this is the signing. We're moving forward. Yeah, Tottenham fans, watch out for him. Watch out for him. Yeah? And then what does that do to Tottenham fans? What does that do to Tottenham fans? They all start twerking. They all start jumping up and down, saying, clapping and saying, yeah, we're going places. Yeah, we're going places. His value. Oh, yeah, if he doesn't do well, his value's going to go up. His value's going to go up. And that's it. So you can see that. You can see it. And it's just like it's the same old thing. It's the same thing. And it's
William.
I like Alistair Gold. He's a great journalist, by the way. He's a great journalist. Listen, I'm not having a go at him as a journalist because he's one of the best journalists out there. Yeah, I will tell you that for a fact. Yeah,
Alex, don't worry. He's not watching this show. You don't have to save yourself.
I don't care. I don't care. I stick by what I say. I'll listen to him all day long because he's a proper journalist. Yes. But there's times I don't agree with him. I've not agreed with him for quite a while now. And this was just summed it up perfectly. So it's like someone told him from the club to say, just put sound bites out there. Put the sound bites out there for this player, because Tottenham fans are not really on board with us at the moment. Just put the sound bites out there as a goal. Yeah, let's do that. And he's doing it right now.
Does that mean, Alex, you're not going to chase him with chicken anymore?
Oh gosh, I'm not
William Webb, right? What you've posted is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? You've said when you think you're honest, you are not always right. I've said every year we're winning nothing, and we don't win anything. I am 100% right. Fact. We don't win anything because we don't sign proven, established talent. It's the final piece that we refuse to put into the puzzle. That's all we've got to do now. Sign the proven quality, and we're there. I've been right for 5 years in a row. What you've posted is a lie, my man. Do you understand the denial that fans like yourself live in? I don't know why, but come on, wake up.
Well,
By the way,
the facts are, but the facts are, we never win anything.
Fact.
And the facts are that we don't get to as many finals. Yeah, that we don't get to as many finals as the other clubs. And the facts are we don't buy the same same level of players as they do. We don't spend as much money as the other clubs. Although recently we're climbing up there on the spending table, right? The facts are we don't pay as higher wages as all the other clubs in the top 6 above us, right? The facts are we change our manager every 1 year to 18 months. I mean, what other facts do people need? I mean, regardless of whether we're wrong, those are the facts. And the facts align with what we've been saying for quite a long time.
Facts mean there's proof, there's evidence, you can't argue it, okay? Every year we say we're not going to win anything like this. We're just not going to win trophies like this, the way we go about it. Look, if we sign more players like Werner's and Gray, I promise everyone watching the show, Spurs will win nothing unless we get super, super, super lucky, easy Carabao Cup run, and we end up playing Crystal Palace in the final, something like that. But I don't think that will happen because the big clubs do take the Carabao Cup seriously. Man City won 5 in a row, didn't they? A while back or something like that. So you need top players at some point to win a trophy, and we don't sign them. Not proven
question
ones.
for all of you. Question for everyone on the panel: would we be as negative if we were in the same situation as we are now?
We're not negative. We're authentic.
All right. Would you lot still be as authentic?
Stop this negative racket that we're running, man. It doesn't exist.
All right. Let me get out. Say for the last. All right. Let just put it this way: would we be as upset as we are now, 20 years down the road, if we consistently every year, like an Arsenal, been close to things, maybe quarterfinals, semi-finals of the Cups, quite far in Europe, top 4. If we've continually been doing that every year, whereas a lot of the time we go out the Cups early, we don't go all the way, and there's only once or twice in the last 20 years we've actually almost got in there. Would you be as upset today as you are now?
Yeah, he'd be screaming at them, sack the manager and get better players because we want to win something.
I think
So it doesn't matter what we do. It's still the same thing.
Lee,
Lee, we have to win trophies.
Some people like pretty football.
I think Lee,
I think it's a bit to say we've got to win trophies. There's other teams and other teams around that can do that. We can't always be the ones who win it. So what I'm saying is, though, would we be as upset if we were at least challenging?
We did.
If we were at least challenging.
Can I answer your question, Lee?
That would improve it.
Go for it. No, Alex first. Sorry, Stel.
It's a good question, actually.
I think it's a very good question. I think for me at the moment, right, because I admit this right now, yeah. Under the Pochettino era, I said Champions League was more important at the time because I thought it was what the ball wanted, right?
It was the next step up from where he was, though, right?
Yeah. So I think for me at the moment, I just think I want to see a plan. What do you want to do from the beginning, middle to end, right? And if we saw that, like a Liverpool or an Arsenal, I think I would be more on board because at least now I know the plan. I understand what we are, and I think I can get used to it. And then I can get used to it at the moment. But at the moment, I've not seen that. I've never really seen that. You see what I'm saying? And I think it's the same with like Brighton, for instance. I think Brighton know what they're like, who they are as a club, and they're not going away from that. You see what I'm saying? So as the fans, you know what to expect.
Maybe that's
you
it,
know
though.
what I mean?
Maybe that's it, though, Alex. Maybe we are in a position now where we just need to accept that we are not a top 6 club.
Well,
The
this is
fans
where
have
I
to
think
accept
that's where
accept
I think
that
we
age
are a
limit.
Don't
mid-table
charge
team.
the money.
I think
Don't charge the
that's
money.
where the
No,
thing.
I completely agree, Maz. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think this is
mean,
where
this-
the. You're gone.
if they didn't charge us the most money for season tickets, the most money for match day tickets, the most money for beer, the most money for pies, the most money for shirts, etc., 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 then they would have a good argument to say, well, we don't charge the most money. You know, we're trying our best. Deal with it. But they're charging us like they're an elite Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, whatever club, right? And they pretend that they are that. And that's the problem, isn't it? And
Yeah, no,
they
I
don't
get it.
acknowledge that we used to win stuff either. So
Well,
it all doesn't line.
I'll tell you the point I'm getting to, and the reason why I'm getting to this is if you remember, was it last season or 2 seasons ago, right? The new owners of Newcastle came out and said, our plan is that we want to win the title within 10 years. Like, that's our plan. Right now, we know they're nowhere in a position to do that. They're in such a sticky position that, you know, they can't just chuck money on it because of PSR. In fact, they've got to sell players to actually gain players. So it doesn't look like they're going to be anywhere near being able to win the title in the next couple of years. But you don't see their fans screaming and crying for the ownership to get out, or you don't see their fans bigging up everyone going, "Oh yeah, we're going to win it now." They understand where they are. They understand that we are not going to do it now. We're going to have patience, and we're going to wait. Yeah,
but is that
we've
more
got fans that still believe that we are going to challenge for a title. I'm sorry, we're not. Where we are right now, we are a mid-table team that managed somehow to get 5th last season, and we're going to have to accept that until the board change the plan, tell us the plan, and spend the money to show us they're executing. We've got to accept we are who we are.
I do agree with you, but one of the challenges is that the new management came into the club, and we've seen a decline in success at Spurs. So, and we're angry about that because we're seeing the slow death of what we are as a club because of that leadership. Now, I can accept that we're not going to win the league, right, or be up there every single season. I've had to accept it for the last 24 years, right? And it was, you know, we did make some level of progress in the first 10 years of the ENIC ownership following on from Sugar, right? I grant them that. We did make some progress, you know, right? But that they only did that to get them into the position where they can initiate their real estate projects. And I can't be happy with that. It's different if they had the ambition and we failed, right? You know, the old Tottenham saying, you know, if you aim high, you know, even when you fail, there's an echo of glory and all of that. But we don't aim high, right? And we don't fail with an echo of glory. We just fail.
We've only ever had one plan.
Yeah,
we've only ever had one plan in the last.
The most stupid circumstances. We have ridiculous scenarios that come up every season for us. We get ripped off. We get crap players in, right? We're the banter club of the whole Premier League in Europe now, right? You've got random foreign players saying it's the history of the Tottenham, right? We've got a saying called Spursy. So I'm not sure I can ever get over that stuff.
Would you agree, Maz, that the only plan that we've really ever had in the last 10, 15 years was the Pochettino plan? And the only reason we had a plan is because Pochettino was happy to develop young players, and that suited Levy because he didn't have to spend the money.
I don't even think that was a plan, Lee. I think that just fell into place.
It just fell into place.
Yeah,
that was going from manager to manager to manager. Ended up getting him from Southampton, and do you know what? He ended up working a bit of magic.
I think Newcastle, to add to your point, Lee, because I think it's a very good question. You made a good point about Newcastle and Newcastle fans. Newcastle made it quite clear from the very get-go what their plan is, right? And I think that's where Newcastle, because of what they've suffered with Mike Ashley, and I think it's more refreshing that they're being more open and being honest with them.
That's why they're more tolerant now.
I think they're more tolerant because they're sitting there saying, well, at least they're taking ownership of what they want, showing leadership. And at the moment, I'm not seeing no leadership from my board what to say. That's why I've got my stance now. Because, like I said, I was
you're
a
never
kid.
going to get that. You're never going to get that, though, Alex. You're
Yeah.
never going to get them come out and say,
Well, that's why
"Here's a
JP.
2-year plan."
But
That's
then
why
they're not a
JP.
football
That's why
board,
JP. I can't
JP.
back it. Then that's why I don't want to back it. Then don't
They're
ask me
just
to back it.
owners. They're not
No.
football. They're not. I actually remember someone the other day saying in one of the other chats that I was watching about Daniel Levy and the fact that, oh yeah, Daniel Levy's a Tottenham fan. He all he wants to do is for this club. Sorry, in the Tottenham documentary, I'm pretty sure Levy said before I bought Tottenham, I barely knew anything about football.
Yep.
How's that a football fan? He's
it's
got
an
no interest
investment.
but business.
It's an investment company. You know that. It says it on the tin, right? He did come in on day one and say, football's a business. That's why we're here. We want to monopolize the business. It's something that's going to grow. Said it from day one.
This is the point. This is the point, though, and this is what I'm saying. It's like at the moment I can't back anything if they don't believe in it themselves. And what I've seen for Newcastle is leadership, so accountability. So for me, that's why Newcastle fans are sitting there saying,
I think it's a bit early for that, though, Alex, because to be honest, they've come in and bought the club and can say anything, right?
well, yeah, but
5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, then you can start saying,
yeah,
okay,
I
fair game,
fair game. But the point I'm making is at least they've given
They've come out. They've come out and
said this is what our plan is the next 5 years. So at least they've got something to go on. In terms of the football side,
we have heard from our board. We've got our Tottenham back.
Well, that's the point. What does that mean? What does that mean? You get what I'm saying? And it's not helping. It hasn't helped the managers. You see what I'm saying? You see, like I say, I don't want to go back to old ground because everyone should know this already. If you don't watch Mr. Box Office TV, you would have seen this already, right? I need to put like things on there so you know, but to show certain things what I've said in the show. But the point I'm making is I love this. I loved this club when I was a kid, and it's broken me down piece by piece. It was Martin Yole, Harry Redknapp, and the last straw was Pochettino, right? And the whole fact that we got rid of Pochettino and got in Mourinho and then sacked him in the cup final summed it up perfectly. When all we wanted, Ron Mourinho, was Champions League, and he just wanted a trophy. That was it. So, I mean, where's the goal? What is the goal? What is the end goal for us at the moment? You see what I'm saying? Now we're going back to type.
I agree, Alex. This is why I don't want to give Ange any credit at all for anything, because what adding to what you said, which I agree with, right? We had Conte in, and Conte was a winner, right? And Conte told us the truth, right? Now, whatever you think about him, whether he felt it was too good for the club, I think that's by the by. I don't even think that matters. The point is, he was a winner, and he called out the club and the truth for what and he told us exactly what I guess we needed to hear, even though a lot of people didn't like it. Going on from that, the only way we can progress as a club, right, is by having a manager that knows what they want. They're very clear in what they want. They're very clear in their messaging. And Ange is not that person. He's a yes man. He's following the party line. He's doing what the club want him to do, right? And as we know with the previous 180 managers that we had in the past, that does not work, because that only can get you so far. And then we fail because we always default back to our Spursisms, right? Don't buy the players we need. Don't pay for the money for this. Don't do this. Scandal this. Scandal that. That's why we need a Conte-like manager who says, no, this is what you need to do. But we've blown it. We've absolutely blown it, because there's very few managers like that. And the managers, now that Mourinho and Conte have been burnt, what other top manager is going to come to Spurs without recognizing that those two top managers have been burnt at Spurs? And then they'll look back at Pochettino being burnt as well. That's the reality of where we're at. We're really screwed as a club, because if you remember, the last 2 appointments have been a real struggle for Spurs because no one wanted to come to us. You had Potter refusing to work under Daniel Levy. Potter, for crying out loud.
See, Levy's the kind of guy that buys a Porsche 911 GTR, ships it over to the Nürburgring, and then drives around the track at 30 miles an hour. I mean, that's exactly what he's done, isn't it? He's built a stadium, built all of this infrastructure, built everything, and then, you know, what makes the stadium, people go to the stadium to watch is just half-assed. That's the way I look at it. But, you know.
No chairman has been in charge of a top league club in England as long as Daniel Levy, and has won as little as what he's won as chairman. From every footballing metric, he is a disaster. From every business, corporate metric, he's the Goldman Sachs of the game. He's an elite level football sports organization leader. Business, corporate. From an on-field, delivering a standard of excellence for footballing success, he's nothing short of, I was going to say Sam Allardyce, but I think Sam Allardyce is probably better. Who gets teams relegated often? What manager gets teams relegated often?
Roy Hodgson. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Roy though. He's quite nice. He's right. He's like
Steve Bruce.
He's the Steve Bruce. He's the Steve Bruce of chairman when it comes to football. Spot on. And there you go. And as a Spurs fan, it depends what side of the coin do you sit on. Are you here for the football, or are you here for the corporate, financial infrastructure?
But still, even that question,
which one excites you the most? Because I think a lot of fans, they sit in the middle and they will never get what they want.
Yeah, but still, even that question has got a problem, because we all even Ange said it when he first came, which I think all won us over in the beginning, because he was like, I just want to play good football. This is what I want to see. I just want to win football games, right? That's why you like football. You want to see goals. You want to see your team win. But if you're liking the club for any other reason than seeing your team win football matches, right, and have entertaining football, and I think those two things go hand in hand. I think you know, obviously you can not play good football and still win, but generally you're going to play half decent football to win games. If you're not there for that, then you shouldn't be watching football. You should be looking at money markets and, I don't know, going to press conferences and trade shows about companies and business, not football.
Sorry, man, I missed that last bit. My
I think the point I was trying to get at I think the
point I was trying again, it cut out.
I don't want to say it again. Jeez, it took him half hour.
I don't want to say it again. I was waffling.
No, the last bit. The last bit.
I said if you're coming to watch Spurs and you're not there for the football, then you shouldn't be watching football. You should be going to like trade conferences and corporate stuff, right? What are you doing, wasting your time watching football? There's better things to watch the stock market.
Exactly.
I think most modern day fans, they're there for a day out. They want the burger, the hot dog, the pie before kickoff. They want 2 or 3 pints of beers with their mate. Some do a little bit more than that. They want to be outside buying the merch and getting excited, waiting for the team lineups. It's the build up, it's the entertainment, it's the food and beverage, and the match itself is part of the day out. I don't think people nowadays go out just to watch the game and go home. I don't think that's what we've become as a club anymore. I think it's a day of entertainment, isn't it? It's a day out.
You want to hear this?
That's what he wants.
Hey, guys, you want to hear this, right? Hot off the press, right? Archie Gray. Archie Gray decides to join Tottenham, right, after speaking with Ange about the plans for the club, and that persuaded him that the move to the club was right for him. His family also gave him their approval to move to Tottenham after they heard Postecoglou's ideas.
Any
So
chance you
make
can
what
tell
we
us?
will of that.
That plain Timo Werner on the left. He's a
Make
star.
what you will of that.
I
Well,
just want to know what that plan is, because we're not seeing it at the moment.
But that's what news. Look, at the end of the day, what I will say is, it's not his fault, right? He's a young kid. He's done well. He's progressing. Brought from 16, brought into the Leeds first team, and he's got a great move now, right? It's up to him to let's see if he can do it. But the big thing is he needs that game time. Whether he's good enough, time will tell. You can make a judgment now, but
I just can't get excited until we start signing some players that make me think, yeah, this is how we're going to compete with the big guns of English football, the Arsenals, the Tottenham, the Man Cities. I think Man United is slowly getting their act together.
We're not there yet.
And they're not.
Still, are we?
Yeah, but it's been 25 years, JP. You know, it's been 25 years. We're saying we're not there yet.
Right now, I totally agree with what Maz said. Tell Ants just to be quiet. I know he was probably a bit more blunt than that, but just tell Ants to be quiet about us going and challenging for titles and stuff like that.
It's too late now.
As a club and the squad, we're not there yet at all.
See, now this is interesting. So Archie 1000 says Newcastle, Villa, Everton have spunked bundles, and now they're restricted on spending, and they've won zilch. Spurs have won zilch. They've won. We've won zilch. So, and we've got better spending power than them. We are in a more powerful position than all those clubs you've listed. Yet we've won exactly the same as them. Nothing.
We've always said that.
It makes no sense. Compare us to the big six, because that's what we are. JP, it's very misleading when fans compare us to Everton and Newcastle. Compare us to Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, because they're the big six, right?
Why would we compare ourselves to them? We've not won anything compared to them.
Because fans keep saying we're a big club, we're part of the big six. If we're not part of the big six, then it's fine. Then we shouldn't expect to win anything. So the way I look at it is, fans need to make a decision. If we're part of the big six, we must demand trophies. If we're not part of the big six, then it's fine. Don't expect trophies. Don't champion for it. Just say whatever happens every season, and it's cool. We'll forever just keep going down the road of losing. But before Levy and Enoch came to Spurs, we were one of the big six, and we did win trophies. That's what we were. So we saying we're no longer that? Because I don't understand how a fan can compare us to those clubs, but then say that we're a big club. Like, how? You know, sometimes fans say there's 100 teams in England and only 4% ever win trophies. So what do Spurs fans accept? I'm sorry, but that is the most misleading statistic that anyone can put out there to drive an agenda. Yeah, but JP, that is a misleading statistic to drive an agenda. And because most fans don't think about things deeply enough, they buy into it. How can you compare us to 100 different clubs? Are we comparing ourselves now to Bristol City, to Rotherham, to Dagenham and Redbridge, to Blackpool? Is that what we're doing? We're comparing ourselves to those clubs. Surely that doesn't make sense. If we're going to talk about winning trophies, don't compare us to all 100 clubs that aren't even in our league. They don't even come close to us. Compare us to our real competition, which is the big six, and for argument's sake, let's say the top 10. Let's say the top 10 teams in the Premier League. Compare us to them, then run your percentages, and then tell me what's going on. Because when you do that, it's a very different picture. You actually see we're a failure. Under this ownership, we fail football-wise. But to make it look better and to sell it to the fans, Oh, get real. Only 3% of teams win trophies. Yeah, because you're comparing us to teams that we haven't even heard of, to Cardiff City, to Sheffield Wednesday. I mean,
But still, even that,
is this the quality of the Spurs argument nowadays? It's
still,
crazy.
but the problem with just giving a percentage about who wins and who doesn't is that, of course, there's going to be teams that lose. It's the whole point of competition, right? So what the argument is that, okay, well, because the other teams are better than us, we're never going to win. Well, how about we actually try and compete and try and win ourselves? That's the whole point, to try, right? The fact that we're not likely to win it is because we're obviously not doing things right.
But
So
hey,
we can't just blame the other teams for being successful.
out of
Spurs
96
is the
clubs,
only club.
out of 96 clubs, we finished 5th.
JP, do you know what? This seems to just go over everyone's head, right? This is the history of Tottenham of the last 125 years. We started before 1901, right? These are trophies. I've included the Community Shield because some fans include them. If you want to take them out, doesn't bother me, right? But on average, this puts us in that top 4 percentile. So what am I looking at here? Where is this argument that people put forward? I just don't get it. I believe for a club of our size in terms of fan base, for the size of our stadium, for the infrastructure we've built, for the money we generate, for the future money that we're going to bring in, the hotels are coming. I'm sure we're going to have more NFL games and more concerts. For a club of our clout, we should absolutely demand success. We should demand the board does everything in its power to bring the best players they can possibly bring in and go for it. And we're signing Timo Werner's and Brennan Johnson's and Richarlison's. We're signing players that Feliz, Gray, Pape Sarrs. They might come good, they might not. Arsenal go and spend 100 million by Declan Rice. Even when Arsenal weren't winning trophies and they weren't in Europe, they attracted an Ozil, an Aubameyang, proven, established players. Where do we do anything even close to that? That's my frustration with Spurs. This is my only frustration, guys, by the way. This is my only frustration I've got with Spurs. If they started doing these things, I've got no argument. My tongue is, I bite my tongue, zip it up, but we don't do it. We never do it. We never, ever do it. And then we're nothing at the end of the season. Oh, but look at Villa. Oh, but Chelsea broke the rules. Oh, but VAR cost us. Oh, but Levy's doing his best. Oh, but give Ange time. Oh, but in 4 years' time. Oh, but how many buts are we going to keep coming up with? Yeah, Alex, sorry.
That's what I said to you a couple of weeks ago. People make excuses. They don't like the truth. People make excuses for it to make it be all right. Pretty much.
Well, if people can counter the things I say, that you say, that Maz says, that if people can actually counter it, please counter it. But I've yet to hear a coherent argument that can be backed up with some substance for me to say, yeah, you've actually got a really good point there. I didn't think of that. I've yet to hear it.
Listen,
I'd like to hear it.
The way this works at the moment is that Ange has got to do things despite the board, right, and achieve things. Go do things out of the ordinary without the board support. That's what I'm trying to say at the moment, and that will prove whether he's a great manager. That we've got a great manager on our hands, and that's it.
Alex, Alex, bro, you're being too nice to Ange, man.
No. I'm just saying. Listen. You know my thoughts on the whole thing. I
think we just need to call it for what it is.
No, I'm calling it for what it is. But I'm just saying that. At the moment, that's what he's got to do, and that will prove whether he's a good manager or not. That, like Pochettino, proved that he was a very, very good coach in the situation he was in. You see what I'm saying? Because I think people forget the fact that this guy Pochettino coached when we were moving stadium and playing at Wembley as well. You know what I mean? So not at home practically. You know what I mean? So we just gotta wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to. I'm not trying to put an optimistic thing on it. I'm just saying it at the moment. You know, because I'm not getting angry about it anymore because I've kind of zoned out. I'm not really that fussed anymore. You know what I mean? I think we will get a top signing in, good signing in. I would say because I don't think it's a top signing because the Tottenham don't do top signings, don't they? Anyway,
I don't think Spurs are going to sign Eze, Alex. I don't think we're going to do
really?
it.
Well, I mean, they'll get somebody anyway.
I think Crystal Palace because they've sold Elise, they don't need to sell Eze now, right? Or they don't.
Yeah.
If they lose both their top players, it puts them in a difficult situation, right? So I think if they do sell Eze, it's going to have to be for big bucks. I don't see Spurs spending the big bucks on it. That's if Elise was still at Palace, I'd say maybe maybe we could. But now Elise's gone, I'm worried that it's a deal that's going to be much harder.
I don't want Eze now. I don't want Eze, if I'm honest.
Really, man? He's better than what we got. I don't want him.
Well,
really? I don't think he's but he's better than what we got.
I would rather buy a quality proven player from Spain or Italy or Germany, if I'm honest.
Like who?
Yeah, I
tell
agree
you why.
With
because
what you're saying.
Not because I don't like Eze as a player. I think he's a really good player. But when you get an English player of that quality coming to Spurs, he'll get sucked into all the banter and the Spursisms really quickly, right? Whereas we've got half a chance if a foreign player comes in that hasn't been surrounded with all that nonsense.
That's what I wanted Elise. I wanted Elise because I think Elise's got the arrogance.
Yeah,
and I don't think you put up.
I think Alex is onto something with that arrogance thing. I think it's a proper winning mentality. That's what they need. Like, I'm going to come here. If you don't win anything in 2 years, I'm gone. Laters.
And Romero will do that, by the way.
That's what Romero's going to do this season.
Yeah. We should have players coming in saying, you've got to match my ambition, otherwise I'm gone. That's the type of players you need. Winners. But we never get
That's what Berbatov did. That's what Berbatov did. Berbatov sat there and said, well, I'm here for a few years, and if you don't match my ambition, I'm off to a bigger team. Yeah. And then he just left us.
Loads of them, though, Alex. Man, there's.
I know we've got loads of them. I know we've had loads of them. And people don't like it. They don't like to hear it, right? There's the reason why we don't want to talk about Sol Campbell. But I can't say that name because it's a swear word. But what did he do? What did he do?
What has every player left there done?
He won trophies. He won
Lamella
he went to Portsmouth and won trophies again. So who's laughing? Who's laughing?
Did Brian Gill leave here and win a trophy? Even Brian Gill won a trophy.
They all do. The Assassinator, interesting name. He says, under Enoch, the ambition is non-existent. Until they go, we have to be realistic. You have to be smart getting someone who plays the RB6 and is HG is the way. Sorry, I don't understand.
So
right back. He plays the right back, stroke 6, and is homegrown. Okay, so you're basically saying that we can't go and buy 3 separate players for each position. We've got to buy one player who can do all 3.
And Archie's the man for it.
The problem with that, Archie's not the man, the Assassinator, and I'll tell you why. You can be good in multiple positions, but you never be an expert in one that way. Harry Kane can play in a few positions, but like your name, Assassinator, he's an assassin as a number 9. If you really want to progress and be at that top level, you need assassins in each position. You need players at the top of their game in each role. Yeah, they can be versatile, but that's not the way you do it. You need players that can be commanding in that role. Like Romero, people say play him as the 6, maybe play him as right back. No, play him as a centre back because that's what he's bloody good at. You know, if we're stuck and there's injuries, I get it. Like we played Van der Ven at left back one game towards the end of the season because we had no choice. We're just stuck. Okay, that's fine, but you need Van der Ven as your centre back, man, because that's what makes him so good. So I get your point. I don't fully agree with it. I mean, do you guys kind of agree with what Assassin's saying, Assassinator?
I think based on where we are, in the position where we are, it seems that we've got to buy these players who can be adaptable, right, and play multiple positions, because we're not going to go out and spend 30, 40, 50, 60
Yeah,
million on each position right now.
But that's what Conte told us to do, and that's what we should have done. Even Mourinho
No.
said it.
Yep.
And
we
why
rejected
spend
that,
40
right?
million pound on an unknown player? You know, he might be a talent. He might be, and I hope he proves everyone wrong. Like I hope with every player that comes in to be proven wrong. But we need to be buying proven elite players, right, to make us step up as a club. Otherwise, we're just going to be perpetually in this battle for top 6 or top 4.
Maz, what do you say to
If
this?
that.
What do you say to this? Maz, what do you say to this? So the assassinators replied saying, ideally, I'd want a right back and a new number 6 too, but with Enoch, we ain't going to pay £40 million twice, one for each player. So we have to compromise under these guys.
No. Why can't we spend 40? I thought we're the FFP Kings. I thought we've got the buying power. So you're saying our budget is only 80 million quid? What's 80 million quid going to do you in this league? Buy you one Brendan Johnson and half a leg of VDV?
Plus the players that allegedly we're going to sell. The money will come in from those players.
Look, we have to. We're going to cover old ground again. We have to act like a club that actually wants to win things and invest properly into good players, not make punts. It's like we're just betting all the time. Every season we're just betting and hoping that we get another Gareth Bale or Berbatov or Kane. You know, it's not good enough.
The thing is, Maz, Alex was asking for a plan, right? That's been our blueprint for the last 15 years. Wouldn't you say? And I don't see that changing.
I've been banging on about plans ever since I met you guys. Like
but
we don't have a plan.
I don't see that changing. No, well, that is the plan. I don't see that changing. It's literally to buy youth,
and it comes down to
see if it goes, see if it works. If it doesn't, flick them away.
And it comes down to is, as a Tottenham fan, are you happy about this? And if not, what are you doing about it? And we you know, we talk about this all the time. All the time.
Maz.
It's how many years have to go by? This is what I said to Adrian when he was, used to come on the show before he went mental, right? But how long are you willing to wait? Are we going to give it 30 years? Is that how long we need to give a chairman to see success? 30 years?
Maz, I hear what you're saying, but I like I said, I switched off. I don't expect anything anymore. That's the thing.
Well,
it's like this is the thing. People say I've given up. Well, that's your opinion, but my point is that I've grown up seeing Spurs the way they are, not being successful. It's not going to affect me seeing them not successful any other years, and that's it.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me.
It doesn't affect me because it doesn't put food on the table. Like I said, it's like for me at the moment that's the only thing that I can. I can't. I can't.
Alex, that's fair. But the point is, right, is that we're coming on the show. We need to talk about Spurs because that's the club we support. So regardless of whether it affects us, whether we lose sleep or not, is a completely different topic. But as football fans and judging the club we support, then we have to be honest about what we're seeing. I
see what you're saying. I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but I'm sticking to the football. What I'm saying, but it just gets to a point now where what can I? And I'm only just being honest with you and blunt with you at the moment. Is that I'm not going to have a go at fans for what they're saying at the moment because I think that's their character. You see what I'm saying? That's why I talk to people, but people don't like talking to you on here. But I talk to them because I appreciate the way they feel sometimes. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I like to hear their other opinion, and they expect my opinion as well. You know what I mean? Even people that love Ange. You see what I'm saying? They explained to me, and I'm sitting there saying, "I get you. I'm not going to have a go at you because you've stuck to your opinion, and that's it." But it's just for me at the moment. I've learned now to try and be more calm about it anymore now. Be calm about it now, because I
Yeah.
know what I've seen. I've seen it how many times. I've grown up now, seeing it now, and I've
Alex.
got to a point now where I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Do you think that when we come, let's say we get to November, December time again, and we go on a bad patch, and after the third or fourth loss, the fan base loses their mind,
Yeah.
right? At that point, we're effectively waiting for that to happen again, aren't we? Let's be honest. That's what we're waiting for now.
But
right?
I've said it already, Maz, because no one's told me, no one's come out from the board and said, "This is our man. This is the plan." Calm fans. We've got him. We've got him because this is 4 years, right? Don't worry, we still got the plan. It's someone from the club, someone like Scott Munn. And people say Scott Munn's not there for the football. Why are you making a big deal about his appointment then? Why do I need to know about his appointment?
Yeah, it's a good
You know
point.
what I mean?
Good point.
It's like Johan Lang is like, well, he's quiet. Well, why am I making a big deal about him then? Again, I'm sorry. Again, it's about leadership. When you're getting paid all that money, right? It's about unfortunately, they're the ones that are living and breathing in the club, and it's their job to persuade fans where we're going forward. When you show what you're doing, people get on board. It's not the fans that do it. It's not the fans. That's where we're going wrong. It's like, well, it shows you exactly what with the people from the top, from clubs that are well run, right? They're clear and understanding where they're going with the club, and that's why, regardless if it goes wrong, they still make it clear what their strategy is, what their ultimate goal is for the football.
I really think as well, Alex, if we remove success, or not success, if we remove history and everything out of it, and we're just talking about product and service, we're being overcharged for what we're getting.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Just being
100%.
overcharged for what we're getting, and that's not right.
It.
Yeah.
But
and like I say, that's why
the PV thing. Sorry, like the PV thing, Maz, is that people are just accepting it.
Yeah.
I think it's not that they're accepting it. I think it's just what I've said before. It's like they've just got other things to worry about. I think they go for just for their friends and family, and that's it. You know, they go for other reasons, and that's it for me. So I can't really have a go at those sort of people because it is what it is. It's hard out there at the moment, and that's it. They've got other things to worry about. But my issue is at the moment is that this is why I love that question what Lee gave me at the end of the day. It's like, you know, if I saw a plan and give an understanding what my club is all about, I think I'll be more understanding, and then at least then I can choose whether I'm really on it or not, and that's it. But I've got nothing at the moment, and that's why I don't really care whether anybody calls me negative anymore, because that's why I actually thanked Adrian for his question. For his question when he said my breaking point, because I have been broken since then. I have been broken since then because that child in me that loved Tottenham, was defending Tottenham, had gone, because I was sitting there saying, after Pochettino was the perfect manager for Tottenham, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want now?
I guess my point, Alex, is after supporting them for 40 years or whatever it is now, however bloody stupid old I am, I kind of in a way refused for him to stop me loving that club. Which is why I'll go and make noise. Which is why I'll still have my ticket to go and shout in that stadium. I'm like when and where required. I don't want to be pushed out by him because I was here before him. I've loved the club before him. And I'd like to think I'll be there after him.
Guys, on that bombshell from JP. We are going to wrap it up. We've been going on for 2.5 hours. Quick chat right here at the end from a user. We have become a day out club like visiting a theme park. Food and drinks are overpriced, and the day out you can purchase merch to remember today. It does kind of look that way. Guys in the chat, whether you agree, disagree, what's been said tonight, doesn't matter. Everyone's opinion is welcome. We put as many of your comments up on the screen, even if we don't agree with you, even if you don't agree with us. I think we're a fair channel in terms of letting everyone have a voice. And we are authentic. I keep saying it. We say it as it is. We're not going to pussyfoot around just giving you sprinkle dust of happiness. Just feel great about everything. Yay. Well, listen, if we sign Tony, Eze, and Kvaratskhelia, I'll be going absolutely nuts on this show, celebrating a change of direction and a new phenomenon. But until that happens, I don't see a shift in direction for this club. And that's it. The guys have said their bit as well. Let's quickly go around, say your final words and whatnot. JP, you've had a lot of grief about that shirt tonight in the comments, man. Do you want to stand up for that shirt you're wearing?
Stand up. Da-da-da-da-da. He says falling over. Mind you, I prefer this one, to be honest with you, but that's right. It's not bad. Took 8 weeks to come, or whatever it is, wherever it's shipped from. But
is it? It's not legit, is it? It's not legit.
It's not bad for a fiver, eh? Well, I'm not going to spend money in the
really?
shop.
Okay. Yeah, no, fair play. Fair play.
But no, it's well, 1st of July today. There's one young lad coming the door. At the end of the day, we want to see what we want to see, right? We need quality up front. We need quality as that number 6. And if he's a addition to those qualities that come in, then fabulous. It's just that fingers crossed again, and let's see we don't get shafted. But come on, you Spurs.
We've got until the 1st September to find out who's come in, who's gone out. So far, I'm not at all wild.
Well,
let's see.
I'll be honest. Since Werner, which was the start of it, and you just go, you start as you mean to go on, right? And that just makes me go from wherever I was, even in living in dreamland, thinking we were going to do something this season because Ant said we're going to come over the league because that's my manager and that's what he's saying, right? Getting Werner in the door. I'm with Alex now.
Team box office. Maz, last words.
Well, everyone knows what my opinion was about the club and Ange and everything from last season. It's carrying on into the summer, as I predicted. As soon as we signed Timo, I along with you, Stel, and a few others, said I'll be Ange out, Flange out, Mun out, everyone out. And that's my position is not going to change. Everyone needs to go. And, you know, like you said, unless I see really good quality players coming in, you know, three or four big money players coming in, nothing has changed. And even if they do come in, I'm going to wait until the season starts to see with my own eyes what actually happens, because we know how this club operates and behaves. We see the same patterns over and over again. So unless something happens differently and I see it with my eyes, then my opinion won't change. So that's it.
Alex?
Big up, everybody. Big up to still for getting 20,000 subscribers over that. And big up to everybody. Have a good week. Enjoy the Euros, even though it's been rubbish. For quality, entertainment-wise, been great. And I'll go back on the beach, and that's it. Yeah, and enjoy it. And if you don't know, get to know. Back to you, Still. I'm done.
There's the place to go and follow.
Link down below for Alex's channel. I've put it in the comments as well, and I've tagged it to the thumbnail headline for the show. Make office. Lee?
I just had a thought. This won't take long. Do you think that there's potentially something in the current accounting year as to why we've not yet purchased anyone, or have only just made the first purchase today? Is there something that maybe doing it before the 30th of June would have gone against our PSR rules last year, which would have affected what we could have spent this year?
Remember the week leading up to the Euros?
Yeah.
You were saying you expect things to get done now. It must be done now. And I said nothing's going to get done till after the Euros because players are focused on the Euros. Agents are focused on the Euros. Players haven't got time to think about moves, medicals and whatnot. I think that's all it is. I think it's because the Euros are here. After the Euros, I think you'll see a lot of business being done. I mean, Arsenal haven't bought anyone yet. I'm sure they've got their players lined up. Man United are going through a rebuild. They're going to have players lined up. Spurs, I'm sure, have got some more targets. I think this one was a pretty easy one to do because he's not at the Euros, the kid. He's at a championship club. I think it was a deal.
And he was just about to get Brentford and we nicked him.
Maybe.
We hijacked the plan.
At least
listen, Lee, you might be right. You might be right because I know Chelsea have got till a date in July to get their books in order. So it might be a case we're waiting for them to sign a player like Gallagher. That's possible.
I don't want him.
There might be some plausibility. Wow, it's not what you want. It's who we are, mate.
Ooh. I ain't what Levy wants, is it?
Here we are, mate.
Come on, England.
Guys, thank you so Come on, England. Guys, thank you so much. 20,000 subscribers. Big up to each and every single one of you for helping us get there. Much appreciated. Also, a big thank you to all of you in the live chat tonight. The Assassinator with a couple of super chats, and to a user. Thank you guys for that. I'm just going to say, guys, enjoy the rest of the week. Stay authentic, stay real. And we will be, I think Mari's back this week, so he'll be doing a show. The show I do on Fridays with Matt, we put it on hold until the Euros ends because we haven't really got much to talk about other than to repeat what we said on Monday nights. So we'll keep doing Mondays and things will ramp up come July. We're going to have loads of shows coming. So check it all out. JP, Maz, Alex, Lee, Iggy, thanks for tonight, guys. Big up.
Much love.
No worries.
Guys, look after yourselves. Take care. See you later.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.